The 101st edition of the Giro d'Italia, the toughest race in the most beautiful place. For the first time ever, the race started outside European borders in Israel, the mythical land that would offer an incredible location to the 2018 big starts.
Shalom to all!
22 teams, 176 riders, and over 3,500 kilometers, linking Jerusalem to Rome. 21 days of great action broadcasted live in 198 different countries. The season's first Grand Tour was finally underway. The streets of Jerusalem welcomed the riders, and an immense crowd gathered to celebrate with the peloton before the race would begin. As ever, a stellar field assembled for the Giro, but all eyes were set on 4 times Tour de France winner Chris Froome, one of the hot favourites. But his biggest threat lay in the form of last year's champion Tom Dumoulin, for many still the man to beat.
Hi, this is Tom Dumoulin. It's the Giro d'Italia starting tomorrow, and I hope you follow the show.
Meanwhile, Fabio Aru was the only Italian providing real hope for the domestic fans. Another chance for the French favourite Thibaut Pinot, 4th overall last year and a stage winner, and in great form after dominating the Tour of the Alps.
Welcome to the Giro d'Italia.
Other men to watch would include the Colombians Esteban Chavez, runner-up in 2016, and also the Astana leader Miguel Angel Lopez, a fine climber capable of challenging the GC contenders. So after the fantastic welcome, everything was set up for the big start the following day. The opening stage saw a 9.7 kilometre individual time trial that ran entirely through the city. A technical twisting and hilly route with very little flat along the way, and a final nasty kick with gradients tilting up to 9%. That would certainly catch a few riders out. All was set at the start. BMC's Australian national TT champion Rowan Dennis set a fantastic 12.04 and was the early leader, with the main GC contenders yet to start. Thibaut Pinot was the first of the top guys to take to the road, a solid ride from the Frenchman and only 31 seconds off the provisional leader. Next on the ramp was UAE Team Emirates Italian road race champion Fabio Aru, although the former Vuelta winner was never really expected to be a challenger on this stage. Meanwhile, also on the course was the Colombian Miguel Angel Lopez of Astana. Big favourite Chris Froome dug deep despite suffering from a crash during a recon in the morning. The Italian, despite a generous effort, lost 48 seconds to Dennis. Last man off the ramp was the big Dutchman, the world champion, who was absolutely flying around the challenging course. The Team Sky leader kept a steady but not outstanding pace throughout the course, clearly affected by his earlier crash. But it was Tom Dumoulin who was the focus of attention, fighting for the stage win and the pink jersey. Chris Froome set a disappointing time, 35 seconds behind the provisional leader. Let's see how it panned out with the defending champion last on the course.
What a time here by the defending champion, 11.46, he's way inside the time of Rowan Dennis at the moment, but we know how difficult this final stretch is. This is going to be extremely close. Dumoulin, the world time trial champion, the defending champion of the Giro d'Italia, is running out of tarmac. Has he got enough in the tank to take the win? He has! He takes it! 12.02, 2 seconds quicker, 48.3 kilometers an hour. Tom Dumoulin takes the win on the opening stage of the Giro d'Italia. That was absolutely sensational.
So it was the perfect day for Tom Dumoulin, starting where he left off. GC classification obviously mirrored the stage result, with the Moulin leading with 2 seconds over Rowan Dennis and an excellent third place by Victor Campenaerts. Chris Froome lost a considerable 37 seconds to the Dutchman, not the best start for him. But let's hear from our leader.
I knew I felt good the last days, but then you still have to see in the race how it is. But yeah, it's perfect. This is all I wish for. So the win and a lot of time on other GC riders, so perfect start for me and for the team.
There was also a fantastic performance by the German Maximilian Schachmann of Quick-Step Floors, 21 seconds off the pink jersey and rewarded with the white jersey of the best young rider classification. So Tom Dumoulin was our race leader, and along with pink he also took the cyclamen jersey of the points classification. You could hardly have hoped for a better start. Stage 2, the peloton headed west towards the Mediterranean Sea and the modern capital of Israel. "167 kilometers from Haifa to Tel Aviv, time for the sprinters to shine." The Category 4 King of the Mountains, the only real challenge along the way. The route essentially pan-flat to the finish into the city, where a technical finale including sharp corners, roundabouts and speed bumps would await the riders. Another hot day for the Giro. Plenty of sunshine welcomed the riders, who were in high spirits. An immense crowd gathered once again to see them off. The Giro so far has received a fantastic reception all across the country, with the peloton soaking up the warm atmosphere. Trio in front formed in the early kilometres of the race. David Ballerini of Androni Giocattoli, winner of the first intermediate sprint of this Giro. He was joined by Guillaume Boivin of the local Israel Cycling Academy team, and also Lotto Fixel's Lars Yitting-Bach. But the peloton fought back early, headed by BMC, clearly intent on a pink jersey mission for Rowan Dennis. Eventually the escapees were reeled in at the foot of the only climb of the day. Bardiani's Enrico Barbin soon jumped across to them, starting a thrilling uphill battle. Guillaume Boivin launched his attack, urged on by the excited and rather keen Israeli fans, but the Italian outsprinted the Israeli Academy hope in the last metres of the climb, crushing his dreams of glory along with those of thousands of fans on the road. Soon after it was mission accomplished for BMC. Rowan Dennis took the bonus 3 seconds in the last intermediate sprint of the day, securing the pink jersey. Time to join live action with the sprinters teams battling position on the streets of Tel Aviv.
Position absolutely crucial.
Well, Mats Pedersen now, the rider that was second in the Tour of Flanders, is leading the peloton, and a big attack on the right-hand side now as well, trying to get into this corner first. We've got a 90-degree right-hander coming up in just a couple of 100 metres time. Again, hold your breath again. It's one of the riders from Lotto who has now gone clear. It looks to me as if it's like it's Tosh van der Sande going clear. An extremely strong rider. He packs a punch himself. This is a good move by the Belgian.
Well, he knows if he can steer clear and stay away inside these last couple of kilometres, he's got that tailwind, which will certainly help him, but it's a big, big ask. And when you look at the teams who are lining up, Bora Hansgrohe there, Katusha still there. Oh, no.
Whoa, that's it. His wheel nearly kicked out. Just shows how slippery it is. Looks like the rest of the bunch have rounded that corner safely. This is very, very nervous times with a Lotto Fix-It rider. This is the slow motion replay. Just look at the back wheel skip there, loses traction momentarily, but thankfully he stayed upright.
Yep, he just tried to pedal, get back on the power just a little bit too early. Quick step now. Here we go. They're starting to move up. Stibar it is, their first rider at the moment. Look at the speed and look at that gap just starting to come down now.
Well, Tosh van der Sande, that was a brave attack. Nearly came to grief, but Stibar, the Czech road race champion, on the front. And just in his wheel, It is Sabatini. Elia Viviani is just on his little radio there, but Stibar is taking it around 1.2 kilometres to go.
Well, is this too early for Quick Step? Are they going to run out of riders just a little bit too soon? We're coming up now with around about 200 metres. We've got that final 90-degree right-hand bend. They're moving up for that. And is that Viviani on the front now already? If it is, it's a little bit too soon, but we've got that tailwind.
Here we go. Quick Step floors round the final corner. Where is Elia Viviani? He's way back down, but now we've got this tailwind section, 800 metres to go. The opening road stage of the Giro d'Italia, finishing in Tel Aviv. Still Quick Step floors. Danny Van Poppel is in third wheel. Sasha Modolo there is sixth or seventh wheel. Also the rider from Bardiani is there too. The peloton go through. Great lead out here. Sasha Modolo in second wheel. This is an apps. This is Balletti is also there for Quick Step floors. Ilya Viviani is on the left-hand side. A wonderful lead out here. Sasha Modolo in second wheel. When is Modolo going to open things up? Viviani is way back down the order. And just coming up the left-hand side is Jacob Maresco. Maresco goes. Viviani is on his wheel. Jacob Maresco goes for Italy. Viviani on the right-hand side for Quick Step floors. What a finale this is. Viviani on the right. Viviani takes the opening road stage of the Giro d'Italia. What a win for Elia Viviani. His second win in the Giro d'Italia. Operation Quick Step floors is go.
So Elia Viviani lived up to expectations. The Quick Step floors fast man bettering a brilliant Jakob Marecko, and third was Bora Hansgrohe's Sam Bennett.
The win everyone expected, but it's never easy. So I'm really nervous this morning. So I try to cover a little bit this emotion, but it's not easy. I'm really proud of my team, and also I'm really proud of the work we do with the family. So this win, I think, can be a win for Elena, because we do a lot of sacrifice during the year, and she understands everything. And yeah, she really believed in me yesterday night when we talked the last time before the race, and then I think I need to give to her a big win, and that one is a good try.
So Elia Viviani, our winner, and also the new Cyclamen jersey leader of the points classification. BMC's Rowan Dennis, after a disappointing second place in the opening time trial, moves into the overall lead after taking those 3 precious seconds in the intermediate sprints. Tom Dumoulin drops to second. No change in the young riders' overall classification, but Enrico Barbin from Bardiani was the new King of the Mountains leader of this Giro d'Italia. But it was a day to remember for the Australian national time trial champion, wearing the pink jersey for the first time in his career. It was farewell to Israel, but what a fantastic start to the 101st edition of the Giro d'Italia, being greeted in the warmest possible way. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Stage 3, the last in this beautiful land, 229 kilometres from Beersheba to Eilat on the Red Sea. A southerly trek through the Negev desert with a Category 4 climb just over halfway. The last part run flat, likely to lead to another bunch finish with the usual suspects ready and willing to shine. Everything was ready for the showdown in the desert. Three went away at the drop of the flag once again. Blue jersey leader Enrico Barbin and fellow protagonista William Boivin from the Israel Cycling Academy team, ready to battle on the only KOM of the day. Alongside them, Marco Frappotti of Androni Giocattoli, a key team already animating these early Giro stages. Frappotti attacked early, leaving the 2 main contenders behind. And this move saw the Italian taking maximum points, whilst Enrico Barbin secured his jersey lead ahead of Boivin. With the break caught, let's see how it panned out with the peloton flying at 70 kilometres now plus into Eilat for another sprint finale.
Quick Step floors have had this their own way. There's a few big gaps starting to open up now. This is one of the roundabouts. They've got to go over this one, and then the next roundabout they will do a U-turn on.
And then it will be a headwind.
And then they'll turn back into a headwind, and that was when things would just bunch up a little. But look at the face of the best young rider. This is where they will do the turn back on themselves. Look at the flags. They'll head back into the wind.
Yeah, this next one now with just inside 2k to go, about 1.5, 1.7. So here we've got a roundabout coming up. The left-hand side of the road, we can see that motorbike going in the opposite direction. It's a block headwind there.
And now the riders just starting to bunch up. The pace has slowed slightly. Schachmann still on the front. Stybar also there as well. Sabatini is there too. Mikkel Morkov is there. Elia Viviani in the cyclamen jersey is riding in 5th position. Tom van Arsbroek is there for EF Education First. He's the lead-out rider for Sasha Modulo. So Van Arsbroek riding well. Then you've got a clutch of riders. 2 riders, in fact, from Bora Hansgrohe. Remember, Sam Bennett there, looking to try and make amends for his first place yesterday. This is going to be an absolutely spectacular finale here in Eilat.
Looks like Zach Dempster, he's up there, just at the bottom of the shot there.
Some big accelerations now from Bora Hansgrohe, 1.2 kilometers to go. Stybar fighting to hold the wheel of the rider from Bora Hansgrohe. Just 1.1 kilometers to go. Sabatini moves into second wheel. Stybar is there. Sabatini just rounded the corner. Then we've got Mikkel Morkov, and then a rider has infiltrated it. Looks like Tim Wellens is in the mix as well, looking after the interests of Jens de Buescher. At 1 kilometer to go now. This is the final day in Israel. What a couple of days we have had. Stybar grimaces. He is on the front now. And now we see the riders from EF Education First moved up. Tom van Arsbroek is there. Elia Viviani has the wheel of Sasha Modulo. We've also got Belletti there as well. Sam Bennett is in the mix. Still got 2 riders from Lotto Pixel still there as well in the form of Jens de Buescher. De Buescher in a very good place on the wheel of Tim Wellens. They open up the sprints now. Mikkel Morkov looks around. Where is the cyclamen jersey? Remember, they're coming into a headwind now. They've got this turn in just a few hundred meters time. They're going to swing right, and then we come up into the finish. It is still Mikkel Morkov leading. Viviani waiting. Danny Van Poppel also in the mix. Belletti is there in the red. Morkov swings right. Tim Wellens is the rider that opens things up. And now on the right-hand side, it is the cyclamen jersey. It is Sam Bennett opening things up. Who is going to have the final kick in? Moresco there as well. And now Viviani goes on the right-hand side, goes right into the barriers. Bennett takes him into bounds, but Viviani is just coming around. Sasha Modulo on his wheel. Viviani takes the win. Viviani for Quick-Step Floors takes his 3rd win in the Giro d'Italia ahead of Sasha Modulo. What a spectacular finale. Elia Viviani made it 2 out of 2 in Eilat. Another great win for the Italian ahead of Sasha Modulo and Sam Bennett, who was 3rd once again. Plenty of smiles on the podium for the Quick-Step Fastman, who also increased his lead in the cyclamen jersey competition. No changes at the top of the other classifications. The only change in the GC was where Victor Campenaerts dropped from his podium place and was now out of the top 10. Let's hear from our leader.
We're taking to Sicily, so that's a first big thing for us. But from now on, it's day by day, trying to keep it as long as possible. And then from the day that we do lose it, it's about fighting till Rome.
It's been a fantastic 3 days in Israel with wonderful memories, but it was time for the Giro to head back home. It was all set up for the first stage back in Italy, day 4, so the Giro began 3 days in Sicily, following the rest day transfer from the big start in Israel. There was the modified route of 202 kilometres from Catania to Caltagirone towards the centre of the island. An undulating stage with 2 Category 4 climbs along the way and hardly a flat stretch of road, ending with a punishing climb up to the finish with gradients topping out at 13%, which would provide a stern test for the GC contenders. The peloton were ready to battle. Today's break included Bardiani's Enrico Barbin, Marco Frapporti of Androni Giocattoli, Katusha's Maxim Belkov, Quentin Giorigi of AG2 La Mondiale, and Jacopo Mosca of Wilier Triestina. Barbin sprinted alone on the first King of the Mountains of the day to snatch the 3 points, before duly conquering the second one as well. Meanwhile, the peloton were in control mode just behind. Frapporti, Belkov and Mosca were the only riders still out from the break, but they were soon caught with 13 kilometres remaining. Enrico Zardini and Valerio Conti were the first to jump away, with the UAE rider pushing on alone.
forcing the peloton to pick up the pace. Let's join the action.
Just under 5 kilometres to go now. Valerio Conti has a very slender lead of 10 seconds.
Yep, and then, you know, this is where it really is going to hurt for a rider like this, on the limit.
But Conti, slowly but surely, is being reeled in here. This has been an absolutely spectacular attack by the young Italian, but it looks like his moment in the limelight is gone. But fair play for attacking here. He certainly put himself in a good spot, but how much has he got left?
Well, there's that turn that we were talking about. It kicks up, and let's hope that guy running behind gets himself out of the road. Please, back on the pavement. Thank you, sir.
Well, this is the beginning of that little bit of a descent now. Get very close to the motorway. It is a Yates in third wheel at the moment. Looks like, oof, that was it. One rider's gone down. It's Max Schachmann who has crashed. The best young rider of the Giro d'Italia has come to grief. What a shame for the young German. But there we go. Took that corner just a little bit too wide. This is very nervous times now, Rob.
Yeah, he's going to have to get himself back and limit his losses if he can. That's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for him to get back up. Because well, look at the front. They are riding extremely hard. Lotto fix all.
1 kilometre in the Giro d'Italia, finishing up here in Caltagirone. There's a left turn at the moment. 3 or 4 riders are now just riding clear. This is where the road really starts to tilt up, then it plateaus before the final 600 metres to the line. What a finish this is going to be.
This is where the legs are really going to start to hurt now.
There's a big gap opened up here. This is an absolutely fascinating finale. Jack Haig is still there. Tim Wellens, Esteban Chavez it is. It is Chavez in fourth wheel, and a big gap has opened up now.
Well, look at the gaps. Is the winner going to come from one of these 4 riders up there? Well, 3, because
it's either Grosshartner or Patrick Conrad from Border Hansgrohe here. The rider's just coming up behind. Yates is still there, but it is Esteban Chavez on the inside, Tim Wellens on the right-hand side. This is where the road really starts to wind up.
13% climb here.
So Wellens is in the wheel there. Some riders just coming up on the outside. Big attack here by a rider from, it looks like it is the figure of one of the riders from Lotto El Jumbo. It is Simon Yates there. This is a fantastic finale. Michael Woods looking very comfortable as well. Rowan Dennis is also there. I think this is Bowman accelerating. This is a fantastic ride. Wellens is in the slipstream now. Wellens goes. Tim Wellens starts to open things up. Tim Wellens of Belgium is in the centre of your screen. Michael Woods is just behind. Woods, Wellens from Belgium and Lotto. Tim Wellens takes the stage. What a win. Woods is in second place. Where is the pink jersey? What a ride by Tim Wellens. What a finish.
In the last lung-busting 200 metres, Tim Wellens powered through in Classics mode to claim victory ahead of Simon Yates and Enrico Batellin.
Of course, I'm very happy, especially because it's already the 4th stage. This relieves us from the stress. Now we can go easy in the rest of the Giro. And often when you don't have stress, everything comes easier.
No changes in the jersey competitions, save for a few movements in the GC, where Simon Yates moved into 3rd. Another troubled day for Chris Froome, who lost 21 seconds from today's winner and now lies 55 seconds adrift of the Maglia Rosa, Rowan Dennis. A superb display of strength from Tim Wellens. Time to celebrate with his 2nd win ever at the Giro. Day 5 of La Corsa Rosa, the fight for pink continued on the beautiful roads of Sicily. A relatively short and hilly route, the field facing a 153-kilometre journey from Agrigento to Santa Ninfa. 3 Category 4 climbs would not pose too big a challenge, but a nasty kick-up in the last kilometre with 2 difficult corners in the final 500 metres would make for a tough and technical finale. Today's escapees included Ugo Jupa of Willia Triestina, Andrea Van Dram of Androni Giocattoli, and 2 Trek Segafredos, Laurent Didier and Ryan Mullen. The latter took maximum points on the first 2 King of the Mountains of the day, but the breakaway group later fractured and Van Dram found himself in front. There was an almighty crash, splitting the field in two, with riders including Domenico Pozzovivo and white jersey Schachmann all forced to make a furious chase. After a brave effort, the Italian was caught with 3 kilometres to go. Let's join the live action.
Look at the amount of riders from Mitchelton Scott there. They are all clustering up in that top 10. Is that Pino there, I think, in 4th or 5th wheel?
It is a Thibaut Pinot. And there's riders really in a little bit of difficulty at the back of this group at the moment. That's Groschhartner on the back still. It is Jack Haig from Australia for Mitchelton Scott, really applying some serious pressure, putting his fellow countrymen into a little bit of difficulty. Chris Froome looking like he's starting to struggle at the back of that cruise. Still is Yates. Well, this is absolutely fascinating. Well, Schachmann up the outside.
Schachmann is there and he gets up just to behind his teammate. Now is there for Team Sky, but Chris Froome, he's gone. He's out of shot. He's just at the bottom of the shot there.
Well, Rowan Dennis is there, Michael Woods is there, Simon Yates is there, Zdeněk Stybar, Maximilian Schachmann is there, and the man in 3rd wheel looking just over his shoulder is the Czech road champion. Still Jack Haig presses home, looks around, tries to keep this in control, trying to neutralise some moves. It's a UAE member, it's just going up the outside now. Big attack here. I think this is Diego Ulissi. It's being chased by Domenico Pozzovivo. Pozzovivo neutralising the move straight away. He's onto the wheel. Ulissi it is.
Well, Pozzovivo got himself back up towards the front and on the front.
Well, Pozzovivo neutralises the move of his fellow countryman. It goes again. Pozzovivo attacks. Stybar is on his wheel. The road continues to drag up. Then it drops down before kicking up. Only about 500 metres to go. Simon Yates is also in the mix too. Tom Dumoulin is also there. This is a very technical format. Enrico Battaglin also in the mix as well. Fabio Aru now takes to the front, the Italian champion. Looking behind, Aru is there. This is an absolutely fascinating finale. Well, who is it going to be? Aru leads around the corner. Whoa, here we go. So Stybar rounds the corner. Aru takes it round the corner. Only 250 metres to go. It is
Battaglin there for...
Battaglin is also there. Bahrain Merida, look, they are going to take this. Absolutely fantastic. Well, it's open at Bahrain Merida. Rounding the final corner, this is where it is. Battaglin on the left-hand side for Lotto Enel-Jumbo. Battaglin is going. Battaglin looks like he's going to take the win for Italy and Lotto Enel-Jumbo. Battaglin 3rd yesterday. Looks like he is going to take the win. What an absolutely superb victory. Timed it to perfection. Battaglin takes the win. 3 stage wins now in the Giro d'Italia for the Italian. Absolutely fantastic. Well,
confirmation of the stage result. Enrico Battaglin won with a perfectly timed sprint ahead of Giovanni Visconti. 3rd, Jose Goncalves.
Yesterday was really a powerful sprint and a really steep climb. Today was a steep climb, but at 2K to go, and I had in the last K a little bit time to rest, to recover, and to do here a really big sprint. For me, Giro, it's always lucky for me. I do always a really good race, and also this is also the 3rd victory in Giro. I'm really happy, and I hope to continue this Giro in this way.
So the unmodified GC saw BMC's Rowan Dennis still in the lead for the 3rd day in a row. But the question is, would he be able to hold on and defend the pink jersey the following day on the ascent to Etna? The Corsa Rosa show never stops. Stage 6 and the first true examination of the GC contenders. 169 kilometres from Caltanissetta to the world's most famous volcano. The first real summit finish of this year's Giro, the 15-kilometre climb to Mount Etna via a brand new route with maximum gradients of 15%, would certainly be very selective with no place to hide. Everyone after this man's jersey. After a super fast start, a big group sped up the road, incredibly including GC contenders Esteban Chavez and Sergio Henao. Meanwhile, the peloton were fueling up ahead of the day's final challenge. Enrico Barbin said goodbye to his blue jersey at the foot of the volcano. Astana set a ferocious pace to try to reduce the gap. Bardiani's Giulio Ciccone repeatedly attacked his breakaway companions and was soon joined by Esteban Chavez, who immediately flew past. But would he make it to the finish?
Bennett of New Zealand looking very sprightly, spinning that gear very, very easily. He makes contact just onto the back of the wheel, and Rowan Dennis is in all sorts of problems here on the back, but he doesn't look like he's panicking.
He can't panic, he can't afford to, he's just got to squeeze it. He is going to be in an absolute world of pain here, but he has got to ride efficiently. Don't panic, just ride within himself. And now, all back together, other than Chavez up front. Simon Yates, well, he's not going to chase, is he?
He's not going to do anything at all, because look at the face here of Esteban Chavez. 31 seconds to the good. The runner-up in the Giro a couple of years ago. Thibaut Pinot there for Groupama FDJ. The Frenchman who was 4th overall last year now takes the front. Looking very, very strong. George Bennett looking composed on his wheel. Then we have Pozzovivo. This is a little bit further down. Fabio Aru there, just on the wheel of Chris Froome, who's fighting to stay in contention. The road becomes slightly more benign, not as steep as around 4% now. Yates drifting to the left-hand side, making sure he gets sight of every single ride. He goes again, he counters. Whoa, Yates counters the move now. He's opened up a bit of a lead, but in doing so, he's going to shut the gap and bring riders across. Does Yates know that Chavez is out in front? I'm sure he does, but this is a big, big acceleration by Yates. Look at the power of the British rider. Has opened up a gap. Pinot cannot close it. Remarkable riding from Mitchelton Scott here.
Well, if he can get across to his teammate, that all the better. He had to make it count, and so far he has. He just looks over his shoulder. My word, the horsepower that he had there, and nobody, Pozzovivo there, nobody could go with him.
This is a Mitchelton Scott pursuit. Chavez in front, Yates in second. A Colombian rider versus a British rider. They're mates in the team. Oh, this opened up a big, big gap in front. It looks like it's going to be 1-2 for Mitchelton Scott today.
Where on earth is Rowan Dennis? He has completely gone out of this, but Chavez, it's going to be a 2-up time trial.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating. Who would have bet on this? They reconned the route the other day. Looks like Simon Yates is going to get onto the wheel of his teammate. This is a quite remarkable performance. Still 600 metres to go. They're going to battle it out amongst themselves. Will he go straight by him? Will he latch onto his wheel? He needs to tell him he's there, because Chavez does not know that Yates is on his wheel. He looks across at his teammate, Yates and Chavez, the tandem for Mitchelton Scott that have literally taken this race apart today. Fantastic scenes here on the slope of Mount Etna. Erupted into action. Yates, Chavez driving home. What are they going to do? Are they going to sprint it out? I think they're going to give this one to Chavez.
Time bonus on the line as well.
Big time bonus on the line, so Yates takes to the front, but it's Chavez who's really lit things up. But Yates, what a ride it was. He made sure he didn't take anybody with him. 250 metres to go now. A little bit of a rise to the line there. They look behind. They've opened up a quite remarkable gap. Daylight is there. It is going to be a win for one of these riders. This race has absolutely exploded on the slopes of Mount Etna. A spectacular finale to stage 6 of the Giro d'Italia. This is what the Giro is all about. Some of the most unpredictable racing you would ever wish to see. The Giro d'Italia has really come to life here in Sicily. Yates still leads. Who's going to take the victory? I think it's going to give it to Chavez. Chavez takes the win from Yates. Wonderful stuff from Mitchelton Scott. What a day.
The GC group containing the main contenders arrived with a 26-second deficit. But the pink jersey fought hard but conceded 1 minute and 4 seconds. So a wonderful day for Esteban Chavez and the Mitchelton Scott. A thrillingly explosive 1-2 erupting from the field. So the smiling Colombian was also the new King of the Mountains, courtesy of today's win atop Mount Etna. The new overall standing saw Simon Yates moving into the lead and into pink, with Tom Dumoulin second, 16 seconds adrift. Esteban Chavez completing the top 3. Big loser of the day, Rowan Dennis dropped to 6th, but is certainly not out of the fight just yet.
I felt really good. and I'm not really sure. Yeah, I looked across the road and everybody was looking at each other. There was a little bit of a gap, so yeah, I take the chance and I go across. So in the end, it's worked out really good.
We had a new Best Young Rider overall leader as well, Ecuadorian Richard Carapaz of Movistar. What a day it was for Mitchelton Scott, a perfectly executed performance, netting them the stage win, 2 jerseys and best team. The sea welcomed the riders on stage 7. 159 kilometres from Piso to Praia Mare, running almost entirely flat across the beautiful Calabrian coastline. Just a little bump with 19 kilometres to go that shouldn't cause too many difficulties for the fast men. A transitional stage with a last day of school relaxed atmosphere ahead of the much anticipated showdown between the usual suspects. Let's join the live battle on the streets of Praia Mare. 2.1 kilometres to go.
Lotto and El Jumbo, and they take that right hand here, and then straight away they've got a left hand turn, 90-degree left-hander, so they move across to the right. Lotto and El Jumbo currently with control. They turn onto the home straight. The beach, the sea will be on their right, cross tailwind, and then it's pretty much a straight run now all the way into the finish. And Lotto and El Jumbo, they have got good position, good control at the moment, but Sasha Modolo is there with his teammates just a little bit further back. And where is Viviani? Where is Quick-Step?
Well, there we go. It is the black and the yellow of Lotto and El Jumbo. Danny Van Poppel is in third wheel at the moment. Remember, look at the way the punches are stringing out at the moment. Elia Viviani's fighting to get back in position. He's about 15th, 20th riders back now. EF Education First take it up at the front. Everybody looking around there. Sparagli is in the mix. Here is Viviani. Morkov now moving through. He's got 2 riders to lead him out, Morkov and Sabatini. It is now Mitch Docker of EF Education First. And now we've got Lars Yitting back, who hits the front for Lotto. Looking around, Sparagli and William Boivin is also in the mix there as well. 1 kilometre to go.
Well, Quick-Step, they got squeezed out a little bit there, but now they find room, they come through, and Viviani has 3 teammates with him. Sabatini, Morkov. Oh, this is messy.
Well, Sabatini is there, Morkov is there. This is where things are really starting to wind up. Remember the wind coming from the wind, the rush of the peloton. The finish line is in within their sights. EF Education First take it up. We can see Danny Van Poppel just coming on the inside. Now the lead out begins with Sabatini and Morkov. William Boivin is also in the mix there. Elia Viviani in the cyclamen jersey in about 5th wheel. Clement Venturini is also there. Nicolo Bonifacio on the wheel of the Frenchman, but still Lotto and El Jumbo taking it up. When will Danny Van Poppel launch his sprint? Boivin is on his wheel for Canada and Israeli Cycling Academy. Venturini on the inside, just on the outside. Modolo starts to kick. Modolo kicks. Viviani is on his wheel. Modolo on the right hand side. Venturini is there for Venturini as a minute. Bonifacio goes. It is Sasha Modolo. Modolo on the left hand side. Viviani opens his sprint. Viviani and is buried in the centre. Sam Bennett takes the win for Ireland, and Bora Hansgrohe came from nowhere to go past the Italian to take his first Grand Tour victory. What a win from nowhere for Sam Bennett. A perfectly timed sprint for Bora Hansgrohe's Sam Bennett ahead of super favourite Elia Viviani. Third, the other Italian, Nicolo Bonifacio.
I've been so close so many times in the Giro, I think, and to really get the timing right was key with so many fast sprinters here. And you know, it's not easy to beat Viviani. You know, he really knows what he's doing. But yeah, I think my time came, and you know, at one point I thought it would never come. But yeah, I just want to thank the whole team and everybody that got me to this point.
All the jersey classifications remain unchanged. This was our GC at the end of the day, but things could certainly shift on the way to Montevergine the following day. A first Grand Tour win at the age of 27, an unforgettable day for the Irishman. Day 8 A funicular trip welcomed the Giro on their way up the Monte Vergine di Mercogliano, the second summit finish of the race. ...209 kilometres starting from Rea Amari. A relatively easy day in the saddle until the long climb to the finish line, 17 kilometres with average gradients of 5% and 18 hairpins on the way that could provide ideal terrain for anyone attacking and good legs. Plenty of smiles at the start with the peloton again in high spirits. A break of 7 riders formed after a rapid start. The best placed on GC was UAE Team Emirates Jan Polans, a former winner of 2 Giro stages, who sat just over 8 minutes behind the pink jersey. The Mitchelton Scott-led peloton held them steady at a comfortable gap. But when the rain came down, only 4 remained on the final climb. Chris Froome crashed on a bend and was forced to chase hard to try and regain the peloton. Koen Bouwman attacked the others in the break with 3.5 kilometres to go, but would he make it to the finish?
It's so difficult. Bouwman, he can't afford to look over his shoulder. It's just him. This final 2.8k, he can't afford to hold back.
It is Geniez. Geniez, the team leader from AG2R La Mondiale, has now caught Monteguti. So Alexander Geniez has jumped the bunch and gone across the gap, and here this is Carapaz. Carapaz now goes as well, the best young rider of the race so far from Movistar, goes on the offensive. So a few riders just a little bit down the pecking order now going on the offensive, and the lead to our race leader. Sorry about the picture break-up here, this is due to the weather conditions, but Alexander Geniez is now closing the gap on Koen Bouwman. 1.2 kilometres to go. Carapaz also in the mix as well. What a spectacular finale to this stage of the Giro.
Well, the 2 riders who are chasing this man here, don't forget they've been sat in the wheels all day. Carapaz makes that bend look, and you've got to feel for Bouwman. He has been out there all day, and look at the difference in speed. So difficult for him to keep his momentum.
Well, Richard Carapaz is just the winner of the recent Vuelta a Asturias, is just about to jump past Koen Bouwman. Cruel as racing often is. Richard Carapaz, the best young rider in this race. Look at the gap that Carapaz has opened up. The Ecuadorian rider for Movistar, leader of the overall standings for best young rider, and sitting in 11th position on the general classification at 1 minute and 23 seconds, goes under the Flamme Rouge. What a spectacular, aggressive performance this is from Richard Carapaz, distancing some of the finest climbers in the world. It looks like with 900 metres to go, he's going to take this stage.
Yeah, he's fighting it. It starts to level off up over the top. It's a little bit steep of a section here, but he's now only got 2 bends left to negotiate.
Well, Richard Carapaz of Ecuador is looking like he's going to take his first victory in a Grand Tour. This is a spectacular ride from him.
Comes up to one of the final bends here, he negotiates left, and then before we know it, he will come up here into the finish straight. Here we go, the final 400 metres for Carapaz. This is going to be a victory, and what a victory. Launched out like a rocket off the front of the peloton. Final bend now.
Well, Richard Carapaz, it looks like he's going to take this stage. There's a battle from behind. Thibaut Pinot goes. Conrad is with him, as well as Domenico Pozzovivo. So this is the battle for the other prizes. And here we go, Richard Carapaz. It looks like he's going to take this stage now. 24 years of age. This will be the first victory in a Grand Tour for this rider. Obviously in good form. Took out the Vuelta a Asturias just a couple of weeks ago, but a big victory. Thibaut Pinot now accelerates. A couple of riders from Bora Hansgrohe in the mix as well. But Carapaz is going to take a wonderful victory up here at the top of the Monte Vergine di Mercogliano. It is a sanctuary. It's going to be a sanctuary for him. He certainly was Sig Solis in this win. A quite remarkable ride by the Ecuadorian. Bangs his heart, takes the stage. Carapaz is your victor here today. And a battle of a second place. Looks like it's Conrad potentially in second place, or is it Davide Formolo? Pinot in up there as well. So Thibaut Pinot took third place and the time bonus. Well, what an absolutely thrilling finale that was. But what can you say about Richard Carapaz? Timed that effort to perfection.
A majestic win for Richard Carapaz, like a bolt of lightning from the storm clouds above. He conquered all in the deluge. Formolo and Pino took the remaining time bonuses. I'm really happy. I feel quite emotional. It's been a really good win. I worked really hard, and this is a great reward for me. Richard Carapaz celebrating an historic victory, the first ever stage win for a rider from Ecuador at a Grand Tour. The overall GC stayed the same, with the top 10 riders all sitting within just over a minute, a situation destined to change soon. Will Simon Yates be able to defend his precious pink jersey on the way up the Gran Sasso? Another fascinating day at the Giro, a stunning setting for stage number 9 before the well-earned rest day. 225 kilometres from Pesco Sanita to Gran Sasso, the great stone of Italy. A lengthy stage with 3 significant climbs en route, the last a true test at 27 kilometres. A long climb with gradients topping out at 13%, and surely an opportunity for the GC contenders to again attack, but they'll need plenty of energy in the legs at this point. A big group of 14 breakaways formed early on and included stage 4 winner Tim Bellens and Giovanni Visconti. Fausto Masnada of Androni Giocattoli took the first King of the Mountains of the day. Meanwhile, Astana really picked up the pace. The group in front fractured, and Masnada decided to go it alone. Time to join the live action.
This is so difficult. I don't think he has got enough. Still 3 kilometres to go, which at this speed, as the road starts to kick up, it's still 8 or 9 minutes of effort. And I do think he's going to be caught by the rampaging peloton, still being led by the Australian Jack Haig. All of the main GC protagonists there. Domenico Pozzovivo in second, Tom Dumoulin in third, Esteban Chavez in fifth. I've also seen up there, not too far away, Chris Froome as well. 17 seconds or 3k to go. Desperate times, but what a fine effort by this young man.
Absolutely incredible ride by him, but just too little too late. But you know, at the point it was 8 minutes for this group, we thought, well, that's it, there's no way they're going to bring it back. It was Astana, let's not forget, that put the initial move in, and can you believe that they have brought it all back together?
Well, they certainly have. And the faces of these riders surviving. Yuri Menkes is still in the mix there. Oh, Dennis starting to suffer as well. Goncalves also starting to suffer. All under the pace of one man. 9 seconds for our sole leader. And it's Jack Haig who is tearing this Giro d'Italia apart. Desperate times for this young Italian. What a ride, but it is all back together. All of the main GC protagonists at the head of affairs. Tom Dumoulin looks round. Also one of the riders from Bardiani CSF on the offensive as well, who goes on the left-hand side.
Aru is struggling, but look, here we go, the attack now. They start as the race is all back together.
It is Giulio Ciccone who goes again. He went on the offensive yesterday, remember, so Giulio Ciccone, great move. One young Italian hands over the baton to another, so Giulio Ciccone goes clear, opening up a little bit of a lead. Still 2.6 kilometres to go together, but what a sight this is. The Giro d'Italia passing through the Apennine Mountains, through the snow line to the observatory here, to one of the most iconic finishes in the Giro, the Gran Sasso d'Italia. Who will be the grandest rider today? Still just over 2 kilometres to go, but Ciccone opening a nice little bit of a lead, but look, only about 15 riders left, Rob. And Ciccone sticks it on the big ring and rolls through. Still Jack Haig persevering on the front of the peloton. 23 years of age now, with 2 kilometres to go. Not a very big gap at all.
He's gone.
Froome has been detached. He's got Betancourt for company. Chris Froome has been dropped. Sergi Henao is now dropping back, but not good times here for Chris Froome at all.
Ciccone has got brought back, and Haig out of the saddle, riding tempo. He's still got 2 of his teammates there. There comes the pink jersey, but in his wheel as well.
Well, Pozzovivo rolls that big gear. Such a powerful little rider.
Dumoulin getting dropped.
So Dumoulin is just being lashed by this group. Pozzovivo stamping on the pedals. Esteban Chavez on the outside. Yates is there as well as Carapaz. Pozzovivo really winding this up, and with every pedal race, this distance in last year's winner, Formolo now loses contact. contact. Bennett loses contact. Miguel Angel Lopez loses contact. Carapaz is there. Chavez is there. Yates is there. Pinot is there. And still the leader, Domenico Pozzovivo, who is going to take this stage. We're just coming into the finishing straight now. Just a few hundred meters to go. 350 meters. Pozzovivo still out of the saddle, leaning on the pedals. What a finish for the Italian here. Pinot in the slipstream. Yates looking very, very good. And now Carapaz is distance, but Pozzovivo hasn't even taken a glance behind. What a fascinating finale this is on the Gran Sasso d'Italia. Just a couple of hundred meters to go. The riders take their breath. I'm struggling with my breath here as we move into the slow line. The gradient rears its head once more. The pink jersey of Simon Yates looks as if he's going to strike, and he goes! Simon Yates goes on the outside. Divo Pino tries as well. Yates on the outside in the pink jersey of the Mario Rosa. Yates is looking remarkably strong, coming into the finishing straight. Pino fights. It is a day again for Simon Yates in the Mario Rosa. Takes the stage. What a win by Simon Yates. Pino second, Chavez third, Pozzovivo, Carapaz.
What a masterful win for Simon Yates ahead of Thibaut Pinot. But the big losers of the day were Chris Froome and Fabio Aru, who lost over a minute. This was our top 10 at the top of the Gran Sasso. A great ride from Chavez and Pozzovivo. Dumoulin and Miguel Angel Lopez 12 seconds behind our leader.
That one was actually for the boys, the guys, the big guys who ride on the front all day. You know, they've had a couple of tough days. Always riding on the front, some very long stages, and yeah, that's for those guys.
So the new overall GC before the rest day, Yates, Chavez and Dumoulin complete the podium, but dropping out of the top 10 are Froome and Aru. Elia Viviani is still our points classification leader with 78 points advantage over Sam Bennett. Richard Carapaz still the best young rider of the Giro d'Italia so far. Miguel Angel Lopez in second, with third Ben O'Connor. Simon Yates also powered into the blue jersey. The 25-year-old Briton sent out a message to the rest of the race. The pink jersey is yours if you want it, but you'll have to come and get it. We saw an exciting and fast first week on the 2018 Giro d'Italia, starting out from Israel, and it was an Italian that took first blood in the sprint.
What a spectacular finale!
Then the race landed in Sicily, rebooting in Italy.
Looks like he is going to take the win. What an absolutely superb victory. Timed it to perfection. Battalion takes the win.
There were momentous moments for some.
Sam Bennett came from nowhere to go past the Italian to take his first Grand Tour victory.
One man dominated in pink. Simon Yates, our leader after week one, with a 32-second advantage over his teammate Esteban Chavez. Tom Dumoulin lay in third. The big losers, Chris Froome and Fabio Aru, out of the top 10. So, after the rest day, the longest stage of this year's Giro, 244 kilometres from Penne to Gualdo Tadino across the Apennine Mountains, with a demanding start up a long Category 2 climb after 15 kilometres, followed by two more categorised hills along the way. Ideal terrain for a breakaway to succeed. A day of recuperation behind them and perhaps some fresher legs, yet the riders acutely aware of an arduous day ahead. Giulio Ciccone, part of an initial group of escapees, won the first two King of the Mountains of the day, taking maximum points. But they were soon caught by a bunch led by Team Sky. Esteban Chavez was having difficulties on the opening climb and started to drop behind. Simon Yates displayed his strength and desire by taking the 3-second time bonus at the intermediate sprint ahead of Pinot. Marco Frapporti enjoyed a solo ride ahead of the peloton, conquering the last King of the Mountains of the day. But Chavez endured a terrible day and kept losing time, his overall aspirations up in smoke. An explosive stage saw Tom Dumoulin change bikes on the descent, the Dutchman forcing his way back to the safety of the reduced peloton. After a flurry of attacks, the head of the race morphed yet again. Nico Denz and Matej Mohoric, part of the early move, were now in front. Let's join the action with the duo flying to the line.
3.1 kilometres to go. It looks as if the battle for the stage win here in Gualdo Tadino is going to be between Nico Denz, 24 years of age, from AG2R, and Matej Mohoric, the Slovenian, riding for Bahrain Merida.
Yep, well, they've got Lotto Fixel now on the front trying to drive this down. The two leaders, they have got to ride together. They can't afford to play cat and mouse just yet. They've got to ride all the way into the final few hundred metres at least, taking it in turns, riding evenly, because otherwise if one of them looks over their shoulder, one of them sits on, that could be it at this point in the race. 50 seconds now, the time gap. It's starting to come down, slowly coming down, but rapidly. They're running out of road ahead of them, this peloton, to bring this back.
Yeah, I think they certainly are running out of a freshly laid tarmac now. Nico Denz for AG2R Le Mondial. This is the bunch of what's left of the peloton. Very, very difficult stage today, the longest stage of the Giro d'Italia. By the time they cross the line here in Gualdo Tadino, they'll have covered 244 kilometres. And it looks like Adam Hansen on the left-hand side. Last little roll of the dice for him, but I think he may have left it too late. Unless, of course, something happens to the two riders out in front. But the Australian from Lotto, riding in his 20th consecutive Grand Tour, tries to go clear. And he is the sort of rider with the engine to take him clear. But I think the battle for the stage win is going to be between the two riders out in front. Mohoric leads, and this is where the road starts to drop down, so making it just that little bit more nervous. You can see the road surface here, a little bit of wet, a little bit of dry. They have to make sure they don't push things too hard in these corners.
They've got to ride cautiously. Tony Martin, it looks like, for Katusha on the front of the peloton. He's got that carrot to chase, but I just feel it's too little too late. Only 5 seconds has been brought down in the final few hundred metres there. That is not enough as it stands.
Well, just over 1 kilometre to go. Matej Mohoric of Bahrain Merida, he escaped on the final climb of the day. Nico Denz, well, did some demon descending to get back in contact. This is this first right-hander. Well, they've got it, and now there's a little bit of a left. And there we go. They are through safely. Still the bunch, but 42 seconds with 1.1 kilometres to go. They're going to be fighting for the minor placings on today's stage of the Giro. It is going to be between Nico Denz. There we go, 1 kilometre still to go. Now, in just 100 metres or so, they've got this double turn here, so hold your breath, folks. Oh, they go around. Oh, God, nervous times here, Rob. Sorry, this is an absolute thriller. When it's wet, I get very, very nervous, but...
Got another one coming up.
They round this final corner here, then the finishing straight will open up, gently meanders to the right-hand side. So 800 metres now to go. It is Nico Denz who's got the ideal position here, the German rider riding for AG2R Le Mondial for Germany, and leading Matej Mohoric of Bahrain Merida, already a winner of a Grand Tour stage last year in the Vuelta a España. Who is going to be the one that winds it up? They're back into a headwind, remember, they've turned back. It's going to be a headwind finish in just 100 metres time or less. The finishing straight is going to open up still. Mohoric leads, slows things down. This is a cat and mouse approach to the line. Mohoric on the left-hand side is going to force Nico Denz to go to the right-hand side, winding things up slowly through the puddle. Still that little furtive glance over his shoulder, and now he opens up. Mohoric goes. Mohoric on the left-hand side, but Denz is fading. Mohoric looks like he's got enough, but Denz is coming round on the left-hand side. Who's going to take the win? Does Denz have the momentum? Mohoric on the right. Mohoric takes the win. Matej Mohoric of Bahrain Merida takes the victory here in Gualdo Tadino from Nico Denz. Superb win by the youngster from Slovenia.
A thrilling shoulder-to-shoulder battle saw the Slovenian powerfully hold off Denz, while Sam Bennett took third by winning the reduced bunch sprint just behind.
It's amazing. I'm super happy for myself, but foremost for the team, because they gave me this opportunity, even though Pozzovivo is feeling super good for the GC, but he gave me a free card today to play for the stage win, and I'm super happy for it.
Plenty of smiles for the Slovenian, who celebrated his second Grand Tour victory after taking a stage at last year's Vuelta a España. So Simon Yates became Mitchelton Scott's defined singular leader after Chavez finished 25 minutes down and slipped from second to 39th. The Englishman narrowly increasing his lead courtesy of the time bonus he took at the intermediate sprint. He could not have looked in better shape. Italy, the Giro and its incredible landscapes, a match made in heaven. Stage 11 ready for another exciting day at the Giro, 156 kilometres from Assisi to Osimo, a relatively short and winding route with 2 Category 3 climbs along the way, likely to offer ideal terrain for a breakaway. The final 5 kilometres featured 2 steep cobble climbs with gradients rising up at 16%. A thrilling finale beckons. De Marquis, Sanchez and Masnada were the first on the dance floor, the latter to conquer the first KOM. They were soon joined by Maestri and Turin. Masnada rolled across first on the second King of the Mountains as well. With the peloton speeding at a frantic pace behind, the escape group fractured. They knew they were doomed.
De Marquis is fighting every single inch of the way. You just never know what might happen. 5 kilometres to go, and this is where the road switches round, and they will see the cobble climb in head. The Via Costa del Borgo Amura. There we go, they've hit the pave.
Bang, here we go.
And Zdeněk Štibar now goes to the front, the Czech champion. This one rider we've not mentioned too much, the rider from the Czech Republic, the champion riding for. It's also got Tim Wellens on as well, so Tim Wellens just tries to get into the slipstream of the flying Czech up this Muro here. A wonderful battle ensuing on the streets of Osimo today. The former world cyclocross champion stamps on the pedals, desperately wants to win. Part of the wolf pack, opens up a lead. Wellens in his slipstream.
Yep, Wellens chasing down, and they've opened up a big gap. They get over the top of this, and then it's downhill so they can recover.
Oh, there's been a crash on the right-hand side. Couple of riders coming to blow. Oh, it's a Sergio Henao who is down, and one of the riders from Katusha as well. David Villela is also there.
Let's just have a look at the group here. The pink jersey is there in 5th wheel, yeah, so sat nicely. Schachmann is certainly there.
Yeah, I think Schachmann is there. Sorry, the pink jersey of Yates was also there. I think I saw Michael Woods of EF Education first in that distinct pink kit of theirs. But meanwhile, out in front, Tim Wellens and Štibar, neither of which are a threat for the general classification. But clearly, we thought today might be one for Tim Wellens. He's out in front. The one man that we didn't mention, perhaps we should have done, here's the man sat in that aerodynamic tuck using this downhill section. Well, they haven't got too much of a lead. The gap says 8 seconds, and this is where the road starts to kick up again. And here's the bunch, hold your breath, rounds that corner. It's Jack Hay, Domenico Pozzovivo is there. Also Schachmann, Fabio Aru is also there. And that is it, these riders think they're going to get attached. Chris Froome just attacked, Enrico Battaglin is also there. Wow, this is really split up. Yesterday's when Mahe Mohoric, and I suggest the riders this far down the line, well, it's going to be very difficult to get on. That was Louis Meintjes there. Meanwhile, the tandem out in front, Zdeněk Štibar of Quick Step Floors, the Czech road champion, powers on the pressure in front. In his slipstream is the stage winner a few days back, Tim Wellens. 7 seconds to lead.
7 seconds, and it's coming down. 6 seconds, Mitchelton Scott. Yates has a teammate there. Can't quite see who it is.
It's Jack Haig.
Oh, it's Haig. Well,
and Kreuziger too. They've got 2 riders with him. Well, there we go. It is Jack Haig on the front. The ever-wild Jack Haig. Gianluca Brandby is there. Domenico Pozzovivo. Tosh van der Sande. Well, and at the back of this group, a very, very dangerous Davide Formolo. Also there was Matteo Cattaneo from Androni Giocattoli.
Wellens goes. He knows that he's got the strength. He can't afford to ride with Štibar anymore. Now look at Yates, the pink jersey.
Well, look at this. Yates goes on the offensive, accelerates out of the saddle, goes straight past Zdeněk Štibar like he's standing still, and is closing that out rapidly on Tim Wellens. What a remarkable move this is by the Mario Rosa. Chris Froome, meanwhile, is languishing behind, struggling to stay in contact. The riders in 6s and 7s. Now a big acceleration by Simon Yates. What a dominant performance this is, opening a gap on the rider behind. Dumoulin starts to chase.
Dumoulin goes, he has to, he knows he's got to time trial his way. Pozzovivo is there, Schachmann in the background. Bennett is there. Pino as well.
Well, all of the main GC contenders, this is turning out to be a battle royale between the top 5 overall. A quick glance over his shoulder. Still 1.2 kilometres to go. A lot of riding. And this is the section of road that slightly evens out. Perhaps will benefit Tom Dumoulin more. And again, a little look over the shoulder. A bit further down the road now. Losing a handful of seconds is Chris Froome. Just a few metres in front, we have the race leader, Simon Yates, going for the stage win, going to take a few more, trying to take a few more seconds, opening up an increasing gap over Tom Dumoulin. Third in the red is the little Domenico Pozzovivo, 1k to go.
This really is coming down to this final kilometre. Is Yates going to take more time out? Let's not forget 10 seconds on the line, time bonus. He has got to give it absolutely everything now, but this section of road should go to Tom Dumoulin, his strengths, but what has he got left? He's in no man's land, the Sunweb rider, and he looks over his shoulder, he's not making any inroads onto the pink jersey.
Well, this is an absolutely virtuoso performance. They're just rounding the curve here. They don't go under the arch. This is where they hit the pave. He gets out of the saddle in that particular style that he has, rattles across the pave. Dumoulin isn't out of this yet. This is where the ramps just rear up a little bit more before flattening out. Dumoulin is slowly but surely closing the gap, and I think it's Davide Formolo who's also there as well. Another little glance over his shoulder. Is Simon Yates starting to tire? The streets start to narrow.
He is starting to tire. He's feeling it. He looks over his shoulder, but has he got enough road left? Dumoulin again looks over his shoulder. That's a sign that they're struggling. The road will level off with 350 metres to go.
Well, for the first time now, we've seen Simon Yates start to struggle. 450 metres to go. It's a big shake of the head for Tom Dumoulin, but he's a big, powerful rider. This is where the road starts to level. Yates pedaling that high gear. Davide Formolo there. Also, Domenico Pozzovivo in the mix as well as Thibaut Pinot. The gap is starting to narrow. This is where we crest the top of the climb. He looks over his shoulder. Dumoulin is nearly there. Yates still turning that gear. He reaches for the gear, selects a bigger one out of the saddle. He must be absolutely burning with lactic acid now. Another glance under his elbow. It looks like the experience going to be another stage win for Simon Yates of Mitchelton Scott. Superb performance by Yates, clad in the Maglia Rosa. It's looking like he's going to take another win in the Giro d'Italia, stamping his quite imperious authority on this Grand Tour. Yates takes the win, 10 seconds. Tom Dumoulin second. What a performance by the leader of this race, Simon Yates. A dominant performance from Simon Yates, the second win at the Giro for the British rider after conquering Gran Sasso. Second for defending champion Tom Dumoulin, clearly improving his form and looking ominous. Hopes of victory for Chris Froome continue to fade. He conceded 40 seconds to his fellow countrymen.
We decided before the stage that we wouldn't chase for the stage because, normally on a finish like that there were some faster guys who have won before me, and that also proved true. Those teams, the guys like Tim Wellens and Lotto Jumbo, they came to the front to chase, so they were obviously confident of the finish. So it wasn't the plan, but if it always came back, then I would of course try.
No changes in the jersey competitions. The overall GC saw Simon Yates consolidate his lead. Tom Dumoulin sits in second, 47 seconds behind, with Thibaut Pinot in third. Clearly enjoying his time in pink, Simon Yates looked in total control. Day 12 with the Giro d'Italia finishing on the iconic Formula One circuit at Imola, which should provide the perfect setting for the fast men. 214 kilometres starting from Osimo, a pan-flat route with only one small climb with 7.5 kilometres to go. That could provide a challenge for a few of the sprinters, followed by a rapid descent before entering the famous racetrack for a potential sprint finale. So, an apparently easier day in the saddle. But then the rain came and all hell broke loose. The peloton split and the attacks began. Stage 4 winner Tim Wellens surging clear. Onto the circuit for the first time, and the harsh conditions and fierce pace saw many riders dropped, including Elia Viviani.
The peloton pushed hard in pursuit of the Belgian and eventually succeeded. Soon afterwards, a new leading duo formed with Mohoric and Betancourt. Let's join the action with the peloton engaged in a ferocious chase.
AG2 Le Mondial on the front.
Well, Patrick Conrad just sat in second wheel there for Bora Hansgrohe. They're driving hard. Also there, Alessandro De Marchi as well. There is still one rider there from Quick Step Floors. It looks like it might be Michael Mokov as well.
It is.
Who's very, very quick.
Second on the stage in Tirreno Adriatico.
Well, normally used as a key lead-out rider. Again, if he's given a little bit of headway. But look at this. Diego Ulissi just cannot keep up with the relentless speed and the descending and cornering prowess of these two riders out in front. Well, the rider's just lurking over their shoulders.
Is that Sam Bennett in second?
Well, we need to get a little bit of a closer look. They look very, very
certainly
similar
looked
from
like
the front.
a big chunky sprinter, that's for sure.
It certainly did, but a flick of the elbow there from Carlos Betancourt. Mohoric moves through, accelerates through, doesn't just move through, stamps on the pedals and opens up a little bit of daylight between him and the Colombian. Bora Hansgrohe desperately chasing behind. Alessandro De Marchi is there for BMC as well. It looks like it is the Dane, Michael Morkov, who's trying to salvage something perhaps for Quick Step Floors in the absence of Elia Viviani. So Mohoric and Betancourt, 2.5 kilometres to go here at the Grand Prix circuit in Imola.
Still descending for around a kilometre, and then it levels off. And while the riders, they've already seen the finish, they come through here once before. But Bora Hansgrohe chasing on the front. There are two EF Education riders there as well, just coming through. One of those, is that Modolo?
Well, Modolo, you'd think they'd be working for the Modolo. It's difficult to tell the riders in this deluge, but it looks like it could be Modolo there. So it looks like it might be Scully now, just driving hard. I think there's two riders from Quick Step Floors in the mix, but not the Malia Ciclamino. And with 1.7 kilometres to go, with the EF Education, well, what's left of the bunch, they're driving hard. It looks like they're going to close the gap on Mohoric and Betancourt, but a couple of very sketchy corners to go. Just look at the way that Mohoric is carving his way through these wet and slippery bends.
Well, if we thought that there were some dodgy sprint finishes and some messy sprint finales previously, this is certainly going to be right up there, one of them. Look how long that gap is. Well, he's opening it up, but that long line chasing hard.
It is going to be very difficult for these riders to stay away, but again, only a couple of teams just working hard on the front. Still EF Education first, still Mahi Mohoric, still in his slipstream is the Colombian Carlos Betancourt as they go under 1 kilometre to go, still downhill for the next couple of 100 metres. Then it flattens and into the grandstand here at Imola. A grandstand finish, a Grand Prix finish. Oh, what a sketchy finale this is going to be. Mohoric still leads from Betancourt, and close behind it is EF Education first. Whoa, what a thriller this is.
If any of these riders want to bring this back, they need their lead-out men, they need their trains to bring this in.
Well, there we go. It is Tom Scully there. It is Mads Pedersen there. And also we've got the Belletti, I think. Is it Sam Bennett too? Also we've got Baptiste Plancart there. Well, it's Bennett who's starting his sprint now. Or is it Conrad just coming round? Opening up the sprint now. What is Bennett, I think, coming through? Bennett it is. Sam Bennett punches his way, takes them up. Belletti is following. Van Poppel also there. Bennett has opened up a bit of a gap, no doubt about it. Bennett looks like he's going to take his second win of the race. Bennett from Bora. It looked like Van Poppel was in second place. Well, what a thriller that was. Bennett came just at the last minute, accelerated through. That kick he had took him clear to take his second win of the race.
An impressive win by Sam Bennett. Starting his unorthodox sprint early, he caught the rest of the sprinters off guard, storming to victory.
Yeah, it was a tough final, and we still had two guys in front. I didn't know how much energy they had left, and I didn't want another stage getting away from me, so I decided to go early. I didn't know if I could hold it or not, but I kind of think I caught some guys by surprise, so it worked to my advantage.
No change in the Jersey competitions, although the race for the cyclamen is now on. Our GC leader Simon Yates still in control ahead of Tom Dumoulin and Thibaut Pinot. Sam Bennett clearly enjoying the form of his life at the Giro, the second career Grand Tour win for the Irishman. Day 13 at the 101st Giro d'Italia, and La Corsa Rosa arrived in Veneto. 180 kilometres from Ferrara to Navesa della Battaglia, a similar profile to the previous day and another real chance for the sprinters. A pan-flat route with a small climb near the finish, with the last 5 kilometres straight with very few corners. This was likely to be a showdown between the fastest men in the race so far, Bennett and Viviani. Another quick ride from the start saw 5 escapees going clear, whilst thousands of fans lined the roads. Viviani took a few more points towards the Stickleman jersey at the intermediate sprint. Now sit back and enjoy the much anticipated battle between the Italian and the Irishman, with a peloton all together.
Pink jersey just up towards the front with teammates just looking to stay safe as they go inside the final 3 kilometres.
Well, there we go, a couple of riders there from Groupama FDJ, Bahrain Merida moving up at the outside, but a lot of the colour blocking has gone here. Teams at 6s and 7s, Aru just in the centre of your screen there. And also Jens de Bucherer is there. There is number 73 just on the inside, boxed in a little bit. That is Sam Bennett, so he is there. And for the first time, we can see Quick Step Floors moving to the front. This double arrowhead, a triple arrowhead. We've got Groupama FDJ, Lotto Enel Jumbo in the yellow and the black. And also now Bahrain Merida, led by Manuel Ibarraro, moving up the outside.
Well, 3K to go with only two riders on the front. For the Bahrain Merida sprinter, that's a little bit too far, too soon to go for his teammates.
Well, it's very interesting. I cannot see Bonifacio
there.
It's in second place is Pozzovivo, then it's Visconti. So 3 of there. Well, you've got the ruler on the front. That is Manuel Ibarraro. Pozzovivo sits in second wheel, and then Visconti. And then we actually have one of the riders from the Israeli Cycling Academy. It looks like it's Sparagli, Christian Sparagli there. And you can see the wind now. It's a slight headwind on this section.
I think Bonifacio is just trying to move himself up on the left-hand side.
He's way back. Bonifacio definitely trying to move up on the outside there.
Whoop, a little bit of a squeeze.
Bit of a shoulder barging there from David Ballerini, himself a very, very good sprinter. Now Sven Tuft goes to the front. Boiro still on the front there on the right-hand side, looking around to see if he can find anybody. And Bahrain Merida moving all over the road. But Sven Tuft, the Canadian, just setting the pace at the front now, 2.3 kilometres to go. This is going to be a very, very cagey affair. And now we've got the pink jerseys of EF Education First moving up the outside. And there, on the left-hand side, just in about 20th position, is Elia Viviani.
We've got riders up on the pavement here. Safely negotiates that. Well, it's pretty much a straight run in. We do have that roundabout with 600 metres to go. But other than that, it's a fairly straight run in. And let's not forget, you cannot see the finish line until the final 200 metres.
Well, this is a very interesting situation now. Lotto Enel Jumbo would take to the front. It looks like Enrico Battaglin is there. He's moving to the front to assist with the pacemaking. Must be Danny Van Poppel who's there, not far from the head of affairs. It is. Van Poppel is in 4th position now, just in front of, Jempi Drucker himself, a very, very fast finisher. Then we have Ruben Kreuziger. Look at the face of Max Schachmann, trying to make sure that he keeps his sprinter, Elia Viviani, in pole position. Where is Viviani? As he moved a little bit further down, he's just in the middle of the pack there.
Yep, Viviani is there, and then we've got Bora Hansgrohe all lining up with yesterday's winner, Sam Bennett. Sasha Modolo being brought up by EF Education. There you can see the jersey, the points jersey, just moves across to the left-hand side of the road. It looks like he's got, is it Morko with him, the Danish lead-out man?
Well, that's just coming into the kilometre to go now. It is Battaglin who now goes to the front, shouts all around there. That's Danny Van Poppel shouting at his teammates. And just on the left-hand side, it's a big attack. I think this is Jupa. Jupa is going clear. Well, what a move this is. Hugo Jupo was part of the breakaway earlier on. It looks as if he is going clear. Stolen a bit of a march, 1 kilometre to go. This is a phenomenal ride by the rider from William Triestina. I think it is Hugo Jupo who's going clear. We'll get confirmation of that in a minute. Has he stolen a march? Fantastic ride here. And now it is Visconti goes to the front for Bahrain Merida, looking after Visconti, but a good lead here by the rider from William Triestina. We'll get a close look at who that is in a moment, but this is a wonderful ride, fighting all the way to the line. Well, he's stolen a march on the vast majority of the sprinters here. It's still got a couple of 100 metres here, fighting all the way to the line.
What a wonderful ride here by the rider from Androni Giocattoli. 400 metres to go. It looks like he's got this in the bag. Well, it is a sprint now on the right-hand side. Has he got enough in the tank now? Well, this is a superb performance by the rider. Big upturn on the cars there, but out on the inside, Modolo goes. It is also in the centre of your screen. Modolo goes, Viviani, Modolo, and also Italia Van Poppel as well. So Viviani goes to the centre of the screen. There's a cyclamen journey. Viviani reigns supreme. A hat-trick for the Italian.
Wow, what can you say there, Viviani? Got absolutely everything out of that sprint. I was wondering how much he would have benefited from not actually having to fight it out with the rest of them yesterday. He got it right today, didn't he?
What a finale that was.
Elia Viviani made it 3. The Italian struck back, taking a redemptive win, threading his way through to take the sprint ahead of his rival, Sam Bennett.
After a few difficult days, that is what I need and the team need, because they work hard 2 days and then they deserve it. So yesterday everyone worry about that, because it was a bad day. It was a bad day. 2 days, 2 or 3 days really bad, but we really determined to keep this jersey until Rome, and then we want to win after the beautiful start. But like I said this morning, the sportive life is never easy. So you win, you lose, you have a good moment, you have a bad moment, you live a dream, the dream is end, and then you need to restart another dream. So now it's 1 week to go, and we have this jersey. We have, I don't know now the gap, but the important thing is back to win. So that is really important for me.
The calm before the storm. After an uneventful day, this was our GC ahead of the mighty Zoncolan stage, a climb sure to redefine the order of this fascinatingly unpredictable race. Another superb win from Elia Viviani, who also increased his advantage in the Cyclamen jersey competition. At last, the Zoncolan, the summit finish like no other. At over 1,700 metres above sea level, the monster awaited the peloton. Thousands of fans had gathered since the early hours to witness another legendary battle on this epic climb, embodying the true spirit of cycling passion. 186 kilometres from San Vito al Tagliamento to Monte Zoncolan, one of the hardest ascents in the world. An attritional mountain stage with 4 King of the Mountains along the way before the final vertiginous 10-kilometre crawl to the line. A 12% average with cruel pitches topping out at 22%. It was time for the GC protagonists to lay their cards on the table. A 7-man breakaway formed in the early kilometres, with Valerio Conti leading them across the first King of the Mountains of the day. Matteo Monteguti surprised the UAE rider and crested the second KOM in first. Valerio Conti more vigilant on the third climb of the day, the Duron.
Number 17, the breakaway, lost contact.
Eventually the front group fractured, leaving only Barbin and Conti, who was soon caught. Let's join the action on the mighty Zoncolan with all the leading riders together in pursuit of Michael Woods, who attacked on the lower slopes.
Well, now Yates, he's isolated now, he's on his own. Meanwhile, Chris Froome, he looked over his shoulder, just checked and gave the nod to Wout Poels. And this is it, the race is all back together. This is the front. Pino still has a teammate with him as well. That's good for him. Is it Bois? Jeremy Bois? As Dumoulin just throws a bottle off. Carlos Betancourt starts to get distanced one by one. Gradually they're starting to lose the wheels, and Aru is having to dig in. He looks over his shoulder. There is no more wheels to get on, I'm afraid. Yates looking supremely well. Pozzovivo, he hasn't moved. He's just sat there. Lopez and Dumoulin all sat in the wheels. This is one hell of an elite group here.
Well, the road just starts to drop just slightly.
Again, we're just looking around. This is Simon Yates looking around, and he'll see the face of Lopez. He knows Froome is there. Oh, Chris Froome plies on the pressure, sat down that familiar washing machine style that he's got, and he's got with him for company Domenico Pozzovivo and Dumoulin. Dumoulin has been dropped, so has Thibaut Pinot.
Dumoulin and Pinot, they have been cracked, but what Pauls gets on the radio just to tell Froome, well, we've said this about Dumoulin, he has got to ride his own race at his own pace.
Well, look at this. Chris Froome has actually opened up a slight gap. The only rider that can follow him at the moment is Domenico Pozzovivo. Yates just letting this drift away a little bit. And now, for the first time, just look at the style there of Tom Dumoulin, fighting his bike, losing a little bit of that composure. And one man who hasn't got a lot of composure at the moment. Look, Froome is going clear. That tiny gear that he pedals, accelerating away from Domenico Pozzovivo. Remember, Froome sits on the overall classification at 12 minutes. We said, write him off at your peril, and he's riding away at the moment. Miguel Ángel Lopez in second position, turning a larger gear. And then the race leader, who is ahead of the second place rider, doesn't look like he's panicking at the moment, but just a few metres behind is Tom Dumoulin and Thibaut Pinot. But at the moment, Chris Froome clearly feeling a lot better riding away from this field.
Yates doesn't have to panic, not just yet. He will allow, by the looks of it, Pozzovivo to ride on the front. And for all the guys up here, Chris Froome is the furthest back on general classification, so he will have a little bit more of a buff, a little bit more leeway to a certain extent, because he is not in immediate danger. That said, if he continues like this and draw it out, this is a big body blow and a huge shot across the bow of everyone else for potential GC come this final week.
Well, we've still got a kilometre or so of this very steep section, then it flattens a little bit to 7%, then kicks up again. But look at the effort. Pello Bilbao is just there, and that was, of course, Fabio Aru just fighting with his bike. But one man that looks particularly composed, he'll keep Chris Froome in his sights, is this man, Simon Yates.
Carapaz. And look, you can see the man on the back of the bike there with a bike over his shoulder. You don't see that very often, and that's a difficult job for him.
Look at the acceleration there.
Look at him go.
We wondered if he was waiting. He just changed gear, changed down a gear, accelerated away like they were standing still. Miguel Ángel Lopez looks around, tries to respond to that sharp, stinging acceleration. We know how crisp, how strong that Simon Yates is. Look at the face now. That's the hardest I've seen him go. He's got 3 kilometres still to go.
5 hours and 17 minutes of racing done, and the rain starts to fall here.
Well, we have 2 British riders out in front. Chris Froome of Team Sky, 10 seconds down at Monte Zonclan. We have the race leader on the shoulder, well, the Maglia Rosa on the shoulders of 25-year-old Simon Yates, riding for the first time the Giro, having backed 2 stages already, has dominated this race. He's moving away from the riders behind him. Miguel Ángel Lopez in the blue, but importantly, he's putting an important cushion in between him and the defending champion, Tom Dumoulin. But up front still, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, it's fluctuating all the time. It's within sight, 3 motorbikes in between Froome and Yates. What a finale.
It's desperately, agonisingly close, these gaps between each other, just hanging there.
12 seconds, so not even 100 metres, maybe 75 metres from Simon Yates, and Chris Froome out of the saddle again, trying to shut this gap.
Just as it levels off, he's trying to use that to get some sort of momentum. He's got a powerful kick for such a small rider. He's trying to use that, get up to momentum, and then he looks over his shoulder. Oh, is he cracking? Oh, that gap, it's not 13 seconds, surely.
It looks like it's closing now. Maybe it is 13 seconds. It is Miguel Ángel Lopez, Superman himself, a super performance, and not far behind. It is Domenico Pozzovivo. And now Yates puts it on the big chainring here. This is this little plateau we're talking about. I can tell you what, he'll knock it off when we go round the final bend with about 500 metres to go, because the road really does start to kick up. But I think he is starting to close the gap here, getting as aero as he can. A slight, merciful little bit of a plateau, even a slight section of downhill before the road kicks up again into this theatre where all the tifosi are assembled. Thousands of people on the top of this hill here on stage 14 of the Giro. The iconic finish of the Monte Zonclan. The Kaiser looking at the moment to greet Chris Froome. But look at this. Yates is closing now. 8 seconds the gap.
He's closing, but it does kick up again here at the finish. Extremely steep as it comes to the bend. Please, crowd, get out of the way. Let these riders race this out man on man.
Well, it looks like he was getting a couple of pushes there, and although we understand the exuberance, the excitement of the crowd, 1 kilometre to go now, shouted on by a pig in pink. It is that man in pink who can see Chris Froome just in front. He raises out the saddle. This is the very narrow tunnel. Will there be light at the end of the tunnel for Froome? Will it be Simon Yates to take his 3rd victory? Has he got enough? These 2 riders here, Dumoulin and Thibaut, fighting to save their race. A little bit further down the mountain on this little plateau, Richard Carapaz riding superbly well, the young Ecuadorian. There is Yates just behind. This is a quite phenomenal pursuit. 2 British riders out in front. In the white is Chris Froome, disappears momentarily into the tunnel, as does Yates. Meanwhile, Carapaz bites on.
Just trying to work out where the riders are on the climb now, what order they're in.
Well, Dumoulin enters the final tunnel, and there we go. Simon Yates is closing in on Chris Froome, absolutely flying up the last few metres of this climb at Monte Zonclan. Again, uses the momentum, uses that little bit of strength he has got left to try and fight to get back onto the wheel of Chris Froome. As you said, Rob, the all-important 10-second time bonus could be so crucial for the man in pink, but Froome still fighting.
He's giving it absolutely everything here as they go up through the security guards. It kicks up, there's a steep left-hander, and then up towards the finish. Is there enough road left ahead of Yates to catch it? It looks like that gap's just starting to go out a little bit there for Froome.
Well, now Froome rounds the corner in the theatre here, this Stadio Naturale, looking at 2 of the finest talents in world cycling. Froome out in front, spinning that gear. Look at the face, look at the grimace of Simon Yates as he fights. He desperately wants to win this Giro. 2 stages in the bag already. Leans on the gear around this corner. The voices of the Tifosi in the young man's ears. It is desperately close here at the top of Monte Zonclan. Still, the road rears up. The pace so slow, yet so brutally hard.
Still fight left in Yates, out of the saddle. Look at the crowd urging these riders on. What a battle we are seeing. Chris Froome, he doesn't move from that saddle, sits there spinning his legs. Yates chasing, fighting all the way.
150 metres to go for Chris Froome, grinding his teeth and grinding the gear. Look at the face of Yates for the first time. There is desperation in his eyes, trying to keep that gear going, still pedalling with that fluid, ridiculously high cadence style is Chris Froome. It looks as if Froome is going to take a redemptive win here on Monte Zonclan. Froome rounds the final corner. He knows it is in the bag. What a superb performance. A difficult start, a redemptive win. Chris Froome for Team Sky takes the win atop Monte Zonclan. He looks delighted, but fighting to stay in pink is Simon Yates. Rolls across the line in 2nd place. What a ride for him. What is happening behind? Has he built enough of a time cushion? What a stage.
Absolutely incredible. Pozzovivo comes round. He's caught Lopez, takes 3rd and 4 seconds time bonus.
Well, there we go. 4th place for Miguel Angel Lopez, 25 seconds adrift. The next rider to round the corner, the defending champion, is Tom Dumoulin of Team Sunweb. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 seconds. We've got to factor in the time bonuses, but that is, of course, on Chris Froome.
That's around 30 seconds on Yates.
That is a solid ride by both Pinot and Tom Dumoulin there. Well, superb. Oh, what an absolute thriller that certainly was. Chris Froome, he thought he looked dangerous, riding himself back in, and you can never ride him off. He takes the win here today atop the Monte Zonclan. Well, what an epic finale that was. Sheer cycling hell in a crucible of fevered passion. A first ever win for Chris Froome in the Giro in redemptive style. And what an iconic location he picked. The pink jersey only 4 seconds behind, and solid rides from Pozzovivo and Miguel Angel Lopez. 5th, Tom Dumoulin, the big Dutchman, paced himself brilliantly and is still a major threat.
Yeah, I mean, a really special feeling winning up on top of the climb today. I mean, it's just amazing feeling on such a monumental climb in this year's Giro d'Italia. Such a monumental climb for the race in general. It's just such a good feeling, especially after a really hard start to this race for me and the team. It's
it's been great. The team has supported me so well in these last 2 weeks, so to get the victory today really means a lot.
What a day for this man. Back from the brink, he was suddenly right in the thick of the action once again in his irrepressible style. As expected, a big shake-up in the GC. Domenico Pozzovivo leapfrogged Thibaut Pinot, Chris Froome and Miguel Angel Lopez now in the top 10. Courtesy of his brilliant ride on the Zoncolan, the Astana leader also became the new white jersey leader. Meanwhile, Simon Yates brilliantly passed this brutal test, but now he has a dangerous Chris Froome to contend with. The Giro landed in the Dolomites, the last stage before the final rest day. 176 kilometers from Tolmezzo to Cepada and another challenging day in the mountains. 4 steep categorized climbs before the drag to the finish. The stage profile suited a breakaway, but the GC protagonist was had to be wary of fatigue from the Zoncolan the previous day. AG2 Le Mondial's Quentin Jaregui took the first king of the mountains of the day from a large group of escapees. But the hard terrain meant that only 5 remained from the initial break, with Giulio Ciccone cresting the second king of the mountains in first. The brutal course was taking its toll. Fabio Aru was dropped again. The peloton split on the descent leading to the final climb with Froome distance. Yates decided to seize the moment and attacked hard. Accelerating away from his rivals who could only watch. The young Briton descended like a demon, with the rest ferociously chasing behind. Chris Froome paid a high price for his efforts the previous day. The Maglia Rosa, meanwhile, powerfully increased his advantage. Dumoulin showed his frustration with the lack of cooperation, but would our sole leader make it? 4 kilometres to go, 3 kilometres to the Flamme Rouge, and that is where the road flattens. It drops ever so slightly before imperceptibly rising to the line. A long 850-metre finishing straight. And again, he's stolen another second, fighting with his bike, but looks so strong. And still Tom Dumoulin. Carapaz goes. This is the danger. Richard Carapaz, so sharp, attacks over the top for Movistar and begins his sole pursuit of the man in pink out in front. And now it's forced Thibaut Pinot to respond, closely marked by Domenico Pozzovivo, and Dumoulin is dropped.
Dumoulin is going. He has been doing the work on the front, and this is one of the problems. If you do the work and you get a move, we were waiting for a move either from Lopez or Carapaz. As it is, it's the Movistar rider who's gone, and now he really is under pressure, isn't he, Dumoulin? He likes to ride on his own against the clock, but not at this stage in a race.
Well, he likes to ride at one smooth, even pace, doesn't like this staccato style of racing that we know the Colombians like particularly well. But Miguel Angel Lopez is trying to fight now to stay in contact with Pinot. Domenico Pozzovivo riding so strongly, but this man, Richard Carapaz, looking extremely strong. This is where the road starts to rise and fall a little bit. Look at Yates fighting with his bike, his shoulders rocking with the effort, and the gap has come down. 10 seconds has been shaved off.
It's come down, but from that initial attack, where is Dumoulin? He's out of the shot at the moment. It's all been brought back together. Now, will there be a little bit of a lull in the action? Will Pozzovivo go? Will Pinot go? Can anybody go? Well, that's what 40 seconds looks like on the road. And these riders, these two will work together, Pozzovivo and Pinot. They are the ones who have to do the work. The pressure is on them to put this man here out the back, to try and distance themselves, try and take as much time as they can. We've still got the time bonuses, let's not forget, on the line, 10, 6 and 4. It certainly looks like the big one is going to go to Yates, this man here, 1.9k to go.
Well, Fascinating battle behind.
Lopez says to Pino, come on, let's go, we've got the gap. Look, Dumoulin, he's closing up, he's closing in on them, but not on the main man, the really important man, the pink jersey. That time is going back out even more, 44 seconds.
Well, Simon Yates said out of the saddle, driving hard for home. Buoyed by the pink. Look at the power that he's putting out at the moment. 420 watts, maxed out of that attack at 8:30. Again, leans it on, finds the gears. A little bit more momentum from the group behind, but then they've got this rise. They'll see the Englishman out in front in the pink jersey. Looks like he's really starting to tire now, but he knows once he gets over the Flamme Rouge, he'll be able to smell the finish, see the finish, sense that he can win this Giro d'Italia, putting some more time in between him and his main rivals in this race. And another attack from Carapaz.
Dumoulin just gets on as Carapaz goes. Now we've got a couple of bends here for Yates to negotiate. They're wet bends, and look, Dumoulin, he goes out the back again. He's not given a chance to get his second breath. Carapaz goes, Lopez chases, Pozzovivo, Pino, and then Dumoulin hanging by the skin of his teeth.
Well, no doubt about the winner today. This is going to be Simon Yates. The clock will then be reset to see how far behind they are. This is just this final couple of curves before 600 metres to go. This now is this long straight. The road drops ever so slightly. He'll be fighting. This is essentially an individual time trial all the way to the line. What a quite astonishingly brave performance, a tenacious performance, an innate ability to attack, riding on field, sensing a moment of weakness from his rivals. He exploited it. He again tore this race, taken to the Giro d'Italia by the scruff of the neck, using the terrain to his advantage. He is, at the moment, the finest climber in this Giro d'Italia, building more time against the time trial specialists, time trialing himself to glory here. Simon Yates of Mitchelton Scott, been in the pink jersey since Mount Etna, taking his third win of the Giro d'Italia so far in Sappada. What a virtuoso hat-trick of wins for Simon Yates.
Absolutely incredible. Now let's look at the chase. Dumoulin, he's clawed his way back on, but the clock is ticking. Look, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. It is starting to fall away from these riders. Cat and mouse now. Time bonuses. 6 seconds, and 4 seconds on the line. Dumoulin knows he's going to need every single one of those.
He certainly is. Well, the sprint opens up. The clock still ticking on the left-hand side. 26, 27, 28. Who is going to take the time bonus here? It looks like Miguel Angel Lopez. Through Thibaut Pinot on the right-hand side. Lopez moves across. Ooh, Lopez. Miguel Angel Lopez. There might be an interval. Lopez takes it. Second, third to Tom Dumoulin. A valuable 4 seconds for him. What a quite amazing day here at the Giro d'Italia. Another brutal day in the Dolomites. 4 categorized climbs, and the way that Simon Yates set about this race, nothing short of astonishing, but quite wonderful to watch. Another amazing day for Simon Yates, but a difficult one for birthday boy Chris Froome after his Zoncolan performance, and a sad day for Aru, who lost 21 minutes.
A bit of instinct. When we came off the descent there, I saw there was a little gap behind to a few guys. So I asked Jack to really push the pace, and then George attacked. It was just basically really hard from the very bottom. I still felt good. So I chose my moment to go. I don't know why, I'm a bit emotional after today. I really gave everything, and yeah.
So this is how the GC looked at the end of week 2. Simon Yates in total control, but with the time trial looming. Miguel Angel Lopez went into the last rest day as the best young rider. Elia Viviani keeps the cyclamen jersey with 2 more opportunities for the sprinters to score points. A third stage win for Yates, who also increased his lead in the mountains classification. But can he hold on to the Maglia Rosa? A tough and exciting 101st Giro d'Italia so far. From the heat of Israel, where the race started, to the very south of Italy, it's been a thriller.
Wellens from Belgium, and Lotto, Tim Wellens takes the stage.
All the way up the spine of the country, we've witnessed the ups and the downs, of the Corsa Rosa, a race like no other.
Bennett looks like he's going to take his second win of the race.
Familiar names taking centre stage in the mountains.
Oh, Chris Froome! Froome is going clear. That tiny gear that he pedals. It looks as if Froome is going to take a redemptive win here on Monte Zoncolan. What a superb performance!
But one man reigned supreme.
Nobody can respond to the power of this young British rider.
The Englishman won 3 stages and led with over 2 minutes to Dumoulin and the rest of the field. Pozzovivo completed the podium in 3rd. Stage 16 and the second and last time trial of this Giro. A crucial 34.2 kilometres from Trento to Rovereto. Long, wide, straight roads with little climbing. A route perfect for the pure specialist against the clock, and a day destined to have an impact on the GC. Tony Martin set the bar high with a time of 40.14 to take up the hot seat with the main GC contenders yet to start.
Chris Froome is ready to start on the ramp.
The Zoncolan victor was the first of the top GC riders off the ramp. Already on the road and pushing hard was the Australian time trial champion Rowan Dennis. Meanwhile, the pink jersey patiently waited. Tom Dumoulin knew he had to give everything on the terrain he calls his own. Chris Froome kept a fast pace and was 5th at the first intermediate split. Meanwhile, Thibaut Pinot was enduring a difficult time trial, losing time from the very start. A quite brilliant Rowan Dennis beat Martin's time by 14 seconds. Tom Dumoulin dug deep, but the pink jersey was riding the time trial of his life. Pozzovivo gritted his teeth and gained valuable seconds over his main rivals Pinot, Angel Lopez and Carapaz. And a solid ride by Chris Froome, just 35 seconds back from the leader Dennis. Dumoulin gulping down a big breath before the final push. And with 2/3 of the race of truth gone, Simon Yates' deficit from the world time trial champion was only 40 seconds. Let's join the action with the last 3 riders on the course hurtling towards the finish line.
Just in 42 minutes now, 25th position at the moment, continues to drive this home with those golden shoes, golden helmet, and it's been a fairly golden ride. Solid performance here by Domenico Pozzovivo to limit those losses and actually increase his lead on 4th place overall. I think he might have beaten everybody just behind him, so solid ride for 30th place. Or 31st place, and meanwhile not too far behind, it's only 750 metres behind, is this man Tom Dumoulin, the world champion, rounds that corner. Looks great, doesn't he? Well, I don't think it's going to be enough for the win today.
Well, there are 2 things on this. We really did expect Dumoulin here to catch Pozzovivo, so I think maybe not quite the performance that Dumoulin wanted, but certainly a slightly better one than Pozzovivo, just to hold himself clear of this man.
No, definitely. I think on paper you'd have thought, yeah, he's going to push him very, very close, but it's going to be a minute at least between Pozzovivo finishing. So that will reflect on the time of Yates as well. Yates still on the road. There is the time of Dennis. Well, Dennis looks like he's going to be the winner of this stage. He smiles there, but meanwhile there's another battle going on. The stage looks like it's won, but Tom Dumoulin driving hard all the way to the line. He fights, he makes it look almost effortless, but I believe you me, Tom Dumoulin is fighting with every single fibre of his body, as you'd expect from the champion that he is on the day. 3rd on the day for Tom Dumoulin, 22 seconds behind Rowan Dennis, 50.8 kilometres an hour average speed for the world champion. Enough for 3rd place at the moment. That should be okay on the day. Well, there we go, but one man on the road, out there on his own. Well, the underdog in the time trial by a long way.
Simon Yates, the winner of 3 stages in his debut Giro d'Italia, is fighting to save the pink jersey. Just look at the face of this young man. He could not do any more. He has left it all out on the road today from Trento to Rovereto, just coming into this little nasty roundabout. The fountain to the centre, the pink flags, the balloons. Another reminder of the jersey, the colour, the significance of the jersey on his shoulders. Takes another breath, leans on the pedals. Just look at his face.
He's going to hold on to this jersey by a good chunk. And it was thought that Dumoulin, even if he took it himself, would need a good chunk and a good buffer. As it stands, well, he's put himself in the right position, the best position possible to take this pink jersey all the way to Rome. Well, let's not write this race off just yet. Anything can happen. But as it stands, day by day, take it day at a time, today is a very good day for this man here.
It certainly is a quite remarkable day. He fights tooth and nail all the way to the line, looks up at the scoreboard. He'll just round this corner in a few seconds' time, then he'll be out the saddle to squeeze every single last bit of energy. He's ridden with passion, desire and power. Yates, well, he salvages the jersey, saves the jersey by an incredible, well, quite remarkable minute and a half. That is remarkable. 1 minute and 30 seconds adrift of Rowan Dennis. But on the day, he's still the man in pink. It'll mean day 11 in the pink jersey for Simon Yates. Rowan Dennis claimed his second Grand Tour stage win ahead of Germany's Tony Martin and Giro champion Tom Dumoulin. An exceptional performance from Fabio Aru after the previous day's travails. The smile returned to Rowan Dennis, who was also back into the top 10. Simon Yates defied the odds and brilliantly defended his pink jersey. Tom Dumoulin pulled some time back, but certainly not what he had expected. He now sits 56 seconds behind the race leader. Italian hope Domenico Pozzovivo maintained his podium position, but Chris Froome closed in dangerously.
The first half I felt good. I had a good rhythm and I felt okay. I felt like I was going well. I wasn't losing so much time and I was really, trying to hold my position. But the final 10K, I really died 1,000 deaths, and I thought I would lose a lot more, but I managed to hang on, so really happy.
Simon Yates showed the rest of the favourites once again that at every turn he remained the strongest man in the race. Day 17, and the Giro weaves through the heart of Lombardy. 155 kilometres from Riva del Garda to Iseo, a stunning backdrop to this stage, starting and ending at 2 quite magical lakes. An uphill start followed by a small climb before the last gently rolling, often sinuous 23.9 kilometre circuit should be a nailed-on chance for the sprinters. But, this being the Giro, things certainly weren't quite as simple as that. Alexander Geniez of AG2R Le Mondial took the only king of the mountains of the day, but his breakaway group was doomed. The pace again fast and unrelenting. Then, with the reduced peloton back together, they faced a storm at the finish line. Let's join the live action with the sprinters teams ready to do battle. Now the bunch splits. It is the golden helmets of Bahrain Merida taking that ever so slightly longer line round. It was longer, wasn't it? It's slightly longer. Team Sky are now moving to the front. Thibaut Pinot is just on the inside. Sam Bewley is just in the wheel of the race leader. So Roman Kreuziger leads. Salvatore Puccio is up there for Team Sky. Sam Bewley looking very, very relaxed, but look at the face of Simon Yates. Still no sprint teams, and now for the very first time, Zdenek Stybar on the left-hand side. Moving up, he's got a couple of teammates for company. Can only see 3 or 4 quick-step riders there. We know Viviani is in the mix. This is going to be a very, very chaotic finale.
Viviani is there somewhere, can't quite pick it. There he's right bang in the centre, just moving over on the left-hand side as the rest of the riders all move over as well. Well, the pink jersey of Yates still held up there nicely in second spot.
Well, Elia Viviani, he's on the wheel of Sam Bennett. Watching Sam Bennett, he is the man that he fears the most. And now we've got the dual arrowheads on the left-hand side. It is
When Sam Bewley now takes the front with 2Ks to go. Sergio Henao on the front, Chris Froome not far behind. Ooh, a little bit of muscling there. Danny Van Poppel moving up the outside as well. Watch out for him in the yellow. Stybar up in front for Quick Step Floors. Where is the jersey of Elia Viviani? Still sat in the middle of, we're just sat in the middle there. He's on the wheel of Zdenek Stybar at the moment. And Sam Bennett also there as well. Remember, these corners extremely wet. And now Lotto Enel Jumbo take things up.
Well, they go 1.3k to go here. It straightens up now. It's a pretty much straight run all the way into the finish, although we do have that roundabout that the riders, we saw them negotiate with a few hundred metres to go. Slightly downhill all the way into the finish now.
Well, this is Zach Dempster on the front now looking after Christian Sparagli's glasses in his teeth. Zach Dempster, so strong, could finish things off himself as well. Also just moving up the outside to Zdenek Stybar on the left in the white jersey with the red and the blue bands. He's got Elia Viviani on his wheel. Sasha Modolo also there in the punk jersey for EF Education First. Still it is Zach Dempster for the Israeli Cycling Academy. Also in the mix there is Matteo Cattaneo as well. It's leading out Belletti. And a move on the left-hand side now. It's to Cattaneo on the front with 1 kilometre to go.
Well, it's a cross headwind. It's very difficult conditions for these riders. If you take it out too early, you will just run out of gas. That wind will slow you down, and the riders in the wheels further back, well, they'll be getting a lot more slipstreaming, and that will really help them on the run into the finish.
Well, as we come into the finish now here in Isiop, it is Zdenek Stybar of Quick Step Floors who leads things. They're going to be aquaplaning across the line there. The final lead-out rider is there for Elia Viviani as well. Viviani in third position. Ryan Gibbons is there. Modolo also as well. This is going to be an absolute thriller around that final bend. This little chicane. Stybar is in pole position. He's got Sabatini and Shackman, I think it is, on his wheel as well. It is Sabatini. The opening things up now. Quick Step. Danny Van Poppel is on the wheel. Gibbons is there as well as Christian Sparagli. This is going to be a fascinating finale. It is Danny Van Poppel waiting. Van Poppel goes on the right-hand side into the headwind. Viviani straight into his switch lane. Christian Sparagli. Bonifazio also there. And it is Elia Viviani emerges in the centre. Viviani takes it. Oh, very close. Viviani, victory number 4 for Quick Step. Left it late, but takes it. What a chaotic finish that was. No doubt about your winner, Elia Viviani. Elia Viviani sails to his 4th win at this 101st edition of the Giro d'Italia. Sam Bennett, as ever, not far behind. 3rd, Nicolo Bonifazio. The Olympic champion seemingly unstoppable. No changes in any of the jersey competitions. Simon Yates finished safely in the bunch and maintained his hold on the Maglia Rosa. Another superb victory for our cyclamen jersey leader. 3 mountain stages loom before the grand finale in Rome, decisive for the points classification. The grand finale of the Giro was about to begin, with the first of 3 mountain stages to test the riders to their very limits. 196 kilometres from Abbiategrasso to Prato Nevoso, a flat, easy stage until the nasty sting in the tail. A 13.9 kilometre ascent with average gradients of 6.7%, topping out at 10%. An even climb, but with the potential to cause a shake-up in the GC after the accumulation of so many hard racing days. A hot day in the saddle across the beautiful Piedmont region. The usual breakaway group formed early. Giuseppe Fonzi, the current black jersey of last place rider overall, conquered the first King of the Mountains of the day. Behind, all in the peloton were grateful for a steady pace. The calm before the storm. As expected, the brake fractured on the final climb, leaving 3 remaining. Matteo Cattaneo and Max Shackman leading the way ahead of Ruben Plaza, who was fighting to stay in contact. Let's see how it panned out. So other little battles going on. We have the battle for the stage win. We have the battle for the Maglia Rosa and another attack on the right-hand side. Poor Ruben Plaza takes another body blow, but Cattaneo responds straight onto the wheel of the Italian. Well, this is fascinating. Absolutely wonderful riding here by Cattaneo. I think as every single kilometre passes by now, Cattaneo's thinking, I've got a possibility of winning this. The gradient is lessened 6.2%. It does drop for the last 2K. Far easier for riders to sit behind. And Schachmann thinking now, well, how can I get rid of this Italian rider? Well, this is an interesting development. Bilbao attacks. He sits in 8th place overall. Well, he's essentially attacking his own teammate, maybe looking at riding clear of Rowan Dennis as well. So Pello Bilbao goes clear from the peloton. Meanwhile, out in front, it is Matteo Cattaneo of Italy, leading Max Schachmann of Germany for Quick-Step Floors. And another attack here. Well, it's a big attack by Wout Poels. Very interesting manoeuvre. 6K to go for the rest of the bunch. Poels goes clear for Team Sky. Well, we've got about 1,200 metres to go now, and he winds it up. Schachmann still pedaling that high gear, gets back into contention. A series of hairpins leading to the finish. 1.1 kilometres to go now.
Both these riders really are in the red. We would have thought that Schachmann will be hurting as well, otherwise he would have gone straight over the top. Plaza, though, is coming back. He's riding his way back.
What a comeback this by Plaza. This staccato style, this stop-start racing, this yo-yo style has meant the door has opened once more for Ruben Plaza to roll back the years. Can he get back in contact? The Flamme Rouge beckons, they're just rolling underneath it. Here is the Spaniard.
Oh, my word.
Amazing comeback from the rider from the Israeli Cycling Academy. But what has that cost? How much is that taken out of the sting? Will we see Schachmann start to panic? Will we see Cattaneo go? 3 riders back in the mix. What a thriller ahead of the fairs.
Well, Plaza, he's been able to, a certain extent, to ride his own race, ride at his own pace. He's not had to really dig to go too deep with those attacks. As we see more attacks, Wout Poels having another dig.
Into the last few hundred metres now. It is going to be a sprint line. Schachmann leads for Quick-Step Floors. Matteo Cattaneo. Look at the face of Ruben Plaza. Has he got one more big win in his career? Rounds the corner. The road does kick up a little bit more. Schachmann stamps on the pedals. The young German moves clear from the experienced Spaniard. Cattaneo is out of it, but it looks like it is going to be a victory for the rider from Quick-Step Floors. Plaza fights. Schachmann digs out of the saddle again. Grimaces, sucks in the air, rounds the final corner with 200 metres to go, opens up a big gap, the biggest win of this young man's career, the 36th victory for Quick-Step Floors. At the top of Prato Nervoso, Maximilian Schachmann takes a wonderful win, his debut win in a Grand Tour. Wonderful second place here by Ruben Plaza for the Israeli Cycling Academy, who rolls across the line. What an absolutely thrilling battle that was, Rob. And well, great third place here by Cattaneo. Did all he could.
Absolutely spent there. Absolutely, what a battle. The 3 riders just absolutely kicking each other. Certainly from the 2, Cattaneo and Schachmann. As we go back down to Wout Poels, what is going on with the GC riders now? What is happening with the contenders here?
Well, is this to tee up something for Chris Froome? Because Wout Poels is out on his own. And this is Carapaz now. Carapaz, look at the focus on the eyes of Carapaz. And look who is trying to jump across the gap. Miguel Angel Lopez trying to hold on to that white jersey competition. Meanwhile, Simon Yates just looks resting tranquil, just in the middle of that group. But Miguel Angel Lopez straight onto the wheel. And look at that, straight past. Well, the Ecuadorian thinks, well, that wasn't in the script. Miguel Angel Lopez now accelerating away, but he sits a fair distance from Simon Yates on the GC. A great ride there by the German Pfingstein. I think he's finishing in 4th position there. Formulo swings over. I think Conrad's looking at a bit of difficulty here.
Pozzovivo, does he have a move? And Dumoulin.
Dumoulin goes. Well, Dumoulin attacks and we move up, but Dumoulin goes. Pozzovivo is there as well. But Yates straight on to his wheel in the slipstream of the big Dutchman. The Dutchman has to try something, especially on these more gradual climbs. He looks round and he will see that sight, the unshakable sight of Simon Yates. Pozzovivo were there as well. These are your top 3 on the general classification. Oh, Pozzovivo reacting very quickly, straight past Carapaz, who is distanced immediately, almost spun round in the slipstream, forced by the pace of Tom Dumoulin there, the current Giro d'Italia champion. What can he do about the might of Simon Yates, riding defensively, but riding the race he needs to ride? These are the 3 riders he needs to look at the most, or the 2 riders, should I say, Dumoulin and Domenico Pozzovivo. He will not let those riders out of his sight. Froome just riding his way to the back of this group as well.
Froome
trying
and then
Froome winds it up, goes straight over the top. Well, big move here by Chris Froome. Who's going to respond?
It's got to be Pozzovivo. Pozzovivo is the rider who is closest to Chris Froome. He is the one who has to go with it. Yates doesn't need to go. Dumoulin looks like he is the rider who is able to chase.
Oh, this is Yates is losing a little bit of time here. Dumoulin has gone clear with Pozzovivo. Well, this attack by Froome has drawn Pozzovivo, drawn Dumoulin. For the first time, there's a bit of daylight opened up. Well, where is Yates? Well, Yates has been forced to chase on his own. He's got no teammates with him at the moment. Well, it could be that Tom Dumoulin steals a little bit of time back here. That's Bennett struggling at the back. Oh, there we go. Carapaz is now on the front, helping out Simon Yates. Is this a chink in the armour of Yates, or is he just letting them take back a little bit of time? He certainly won't want Tom Dumoulin to take back time here. It is Chris Froome driving hard. Pozzovivo, then Dumoulin, then Carapaz, and then Yates. Great riding by Pozzovivo. So the riders in second and third looking like they're taking back a little bit of time. The first time we've seen the Maria Rosa start to crack, and he is losing a considerable amount of time here. He's actually getting dropped from that group with Carapaz.
He's having a bad day. He is losing it, and this is falling into the hands of Dumoulin. Let's not forget 50 seconds is the time back to the pink jersey.
Domenico Pozzovivo ridden consistently well. Dumoulin fighting to stay on hold of the will of the little Italian. Chris Froome crosses the line. Let's start the clock. Remember the advantage.
11:04.
Well, 11:04. Yates has an advance of 56 seconds. This is the group just behind. This is Patrick Conrad, Carapaz and Bilbao. Here is Mikel Nieve just looking across, helping his teammate. He needed a little bit of this, but the time is ebbing away. Well, what a battle royale we have had here today. It's going to be safe.
Half of his advantage has been wiped out, though, in the final 3-4K of this climb.
Well, we thought this would be a stage that maybe Froome and Dumoulin could take some time back, and clearly the fatigue has started to play its part. We saw Rowan Dennis just cross the line there as well. Ben O'Connor, great ride by the rider from Dimension Data, but for the first time we have seen a chink in the armour of the Maria Rosa. Clearly not feeling like himself on this climb. So, with a breakaway finally allowed to succeed at the Giro, it was yet another victory for Quick Step Floors. A valiant second place for Ruben Plaza, but he could do very little against the powerful accelerations of Maximilian Schachmann. A stage win in his maiden Grand Tour. GC-wise, the pink jersey conceded 28 precious seconds to Dumoulin, Froome and Pozzovivo, but more significantly, he showed vulnerability for the very first time. It's now well and truly game on. Time to celebrate for the German. Just how far can this young man go? Day 19, the Queen stage of the 101st Giro d'Italia. Truly one of the toughest tests in the professional cycling calendar. Everyone readying themselves for the expected showdown. 185 kilometers from Venaria Reale to Bardonecchia, and 4 huge climbs on the way, with the Colle del Fenestre at 2,178 meters, the Cima Coppi, the highest point of the Giro. And with its gravel roads, this 18.5 long climb at a gradient of 9.2% will provide the sternest of tests. Following the ascent to Sestriere, the stage ends with a cruel vertiginous kick, a 7-kilometer long climb with max gradients of 14%, the Jafrau. Undoubtedly the hardest stage of this Giro, a do-or-die day for the GC protagonists. Sky animated the race from the start and imposed a fierce pace. The pink jersey Simon Yates couldn't cope and was soon dropped on the lower slopes of the Colle del Fenestre. Then with 80 kilometres still to ride, Chris Froome surged clear on the gravel, the race imploding behind him. A bold move from the Team Sky leader. Dumoulin, Pinot and Carapaz could not respond and were rapidly distanced. Meanwhile, the pink jersey had totally cracked behind, losing an incredible amount of time, his hopes in tatters.
Domenico Pozzovivo had also lost contact with the main GC group, the only Italian hope after Fabio Aru retired earlier in the day. Froome kept pushing on, cresting the Cima Coppi with almost a minute's advantage over a group containing Dumoulin, Pinot, Carapaz and Miguel Angel Lopez. Simon Yates dragging himself over the top, more than 10 minutes adrift. The British rider refuelling ahead of the spiteful final challenge. Astonishingly, Dumoulin's group kept losing time, even on the flatter sections. Froome took the Sestriere climb, his advantage increasing. It seemed nothing could stop him, and with 32 kilometres still to go, he became the virtual leader of this Giro d'Italia. Meanwhile, frustration grew amongst the chasers. Whilst the Sky leader was flying, alone and focused. He hit the last climb with an advantage of 3 minutes and 22 seconds over the chasers. Let's enjoy the last moments of this quite incredible day.
Well, Chris Froome has not missed a beat. Went clear halfway up the climb of the Colle do Finestra. A sensational attack of quite epic proportions, destroying the rest of the Giro d'Italia field in the process on this, the Queen stage. And there was a battle behind to try and close that gap. Pinot is doing a valiant job at the moment, in and out of the saddle in that style that he has, but meanwhile slightly more metronomical, though for the first time we're seeing Tom Dumoulin rise out of the saddle, battling the gradient. Carapaz grimaces on his wheel behind. Miguel Angel Lopez again rolling out of the saddle, choosing a bigger sprocket. And meanwhile, even further down, just at the foot slopes of the final climb of the Giaffaro, that is Domenico Pozzovivo and Davide Formolo, the two Italians, both captains of their respective teams, Bora Hansgrohe and Barre Merida. But look at this metronomic performance of Tom Dumoulin. Has not missed a beat, doesn't panic. He understands himself like no other, and he's actually opening a little bit of a gap on such a smooth tempo. Look, he's not. Will he look across? Little glance across. And a big attack there on the left-hand side. Miguel Angel Lopez leans on the gear, puts a remarkable amount of torque through the bike and opens up a gap straight away. But look at this. The Ecuadorian from Movistar responding with great puissance, pedaling that gear, gets back in contact. This is the separate battle. 3 battles now on the slopes.
Well, this is what we expected to happen as soon as Pinot came back. And now Dumoulin, is he going to pay for that? Because Pinot, he's got the acceleration. Dumoulin cannot afford to panic. He's just got to sit there and ride his own tempo, ride his own race. The 3 guys in front of him, they've got their own battle to deal with. Really, for Dumoulin, it's just about that 3 minutes and 9. That's the thing he's got to concentrate on, the gap to Froome, not the 3 duking it out in front of him.
Yeah, as you say, as you rightly pointed out, he's got a good buffer on this man here, Miguel Angel Lopez. He's got a comfortable buffer as well on Richard Carapaz, and a good buffer as well on Thibaut Pinot. He just needs to ride, as you say, his own race, not be drawn out and drawn into that danger red zone, which could see him capitulate and lose even more time. He's the master of the measured effort, is this man on your screen. This race is not over. We've got a brutally difficult stage tomorrow, but the big question is, can Chris Froome maintain this rhythm? Still a brutally difficult ascent of this climb still to come. 2.9 kilometres. You can just see the Italian flag in the breeze there, the snow-capped peaks of the mountains in the background, the Cottian Alps, the iconic Cottian Alps, and it's still very, very warm there. Not gulping down the water, more cooling himself down there, maintaining that body heat. Well, look at this, Thibaut Pinot has got back into contact. A grimacing Richard Carapaz clearly went very, very deep, but look at this, Dumoulin back in contact again on the ropes and then back on the offensive.
Just, as you said, just riding his own pace. He's not worried about the others. And look, there we go, Lopez and Carapaz, boom, parachute's gone out, goodbye.
Straight past. Well, again, these attacks by the lighter climbers are impressive to behold, but they come at a cost. You know, it's about how you measure it. Look at this, the rhythm that Tom Dumoulin has got. He's not faltered too much. He's just concentrating on maintaining that rhythm and trying to bring back a bit of that time to Chris Froome.
Yeah, this is where the point now, as Lopez goes again. This is, well, Dumoulin, he can't afford to allow this to disrupt that rhythm that he's got himself into.
1.7 kilometres to go for Chris Froome. 3:13 is his lead.
And it's just hanging there. It's not going out, it's not coming back. We're only a handful of seconds, if that. 1.6k to go for this rider now. What is he feeling? What is going through his head? That crosswind here at the section will now turn and blow him up and help him up this section here. He's got to make the most of that.
Well, taking that little bit of a tailwind and being a lighter rider, he'll benefit from that. And the assembled Tifosi there, roaring him on. His ears will be ringing, and they'll also be ringing, I'd imagine, with the voice of Nicola Portal in his ears, sorry, encouraging his rider. But Chris Froome has ridden a superb race today. His team set him up absolutely perfectly, and he delivered. The hammer blow came off the ferocious tempo that has been set by Kenny Elissonde, almost as if he was riding to the finish line. They had 75 kilometres to go, and now under the Flamme Rouge, and there he is, still the virtual Maglia Rosa on the road. Who would have thought it at the start of today? 22 seconds to the good, and holding steady is this man on your screen, fighting to keep his hopes of a back-to-back Giro success alive. And it's still possible. We've still got a brutally difficult stage tomorrow, but Carapaz in his slipstream. Thibaut Pinot there as well, looking to move up onto the podium, but now fighting for the pink jersey with 800 metres to go is Chris Froome of Team Sky. This is a sensational performance.
It really is kicking up steep here towards the finish line, but you've got to take your hats off to Dumoulin. He's ridden his own race. He has limited the losses, and tomorrow we will see quite possibly another battle. Not quite as ferocious as today's, I would imagine, but still a battle, and this race is not done and dusted as yet.
Well, this race is not done and dusted, but what a stage it has been. The Queen stage of the Giro d'Italia, the 4 times Tour de France winner, the champion of the Vuelta, is just rounding the last few hundred metres of this stage. This has been a royal display of dominance on the Queen stage here of the Giro d'Italia. What a ride here, an epic ride by Chris Froome. An imperiously masterful performance on an absolutely epic scale here in the Cottian Alps. Froome rounds the corner for the first time, showing a little bit of fatigue. Rises out of the saddle. The slope still rises. It kicks up again mercilessly all the way to the line, fighting with his bicycle now. He's conquered the Monte Zoncolan just a few days ago, and it looks as if he's riding himself into the Maglia Rosa with what could be one of the performances of his career so far. The final bend here, urged on by the crowd. Chris Froome of Team Sky is going to take a quite memorable win here atop the Jafral, and still it fights, almost reduced to a walking pace in the finishing straight here. It won't be very, very long before we stop the clock. Has he got enough to take the jersey? He needs 2 minutes and 49 seconds. The road nearly now with 50 kilometres to go. Oh, this is absolutely agonising, the sprint to the line. But Chris Froome, masterful performance, takes the win on top of the Jafral. Carapaz finished second with a deficit of 3 minutes, followed by Pinot and then Miguel Angel Lopez. Fourth, Tom Dumoulin, 3:23 adrift. An incredible day of racing and a stunning solo ride by Chris Froome. This was the stage result. Pozzovivo's podium dreams shattered, as were those of the former pink jersey who conceded over 30 minutes.
I don't think I've ever attacked 80 Ks to go before like that on my own and gone all the way to finish, but the team did such a fantastic job to set that up for me. I mean, it was gonna take something really special today to try and first of all get rid of Simon, to get away from Dumoulin and Pozzovivo, and I mean, to go from fourth to first is, I wasn't going to do that on the last climb alone, so I had to try from far out, and Col de la Finestra was the perfect place to do it. Gravel road, I guess reminds me a little bit of riding on the roads back in Africa. Just felt good and thought, it's now or never, I have to try.
So after his extraordinary solo raid, Chris Froome moved into the pink jersey leadership for the first time in his career. His only real threat, Tom Dumoulin, distanced by 40 seconds. Still a tight battle for the Maglia Rosa and the remaining podium places. Plenty of smiles for Chris Froome, surely one of his greatest ever performances. The British rider also moving into the lead in the mountains jersey. Would anyone be able to challenge him for the overall? Stage 20 heading towards the Monte Cervino, a snow-capped giant at over 4,000 metres. The final mountain stage of this fascinating yet brutal race. 214 kilometres from Susa to Cervinia, the first part completely flat before the final battle, set to be waged over 3 challenging peaks after 3 weeks of exciting, resource-sapping competition. Another tough finish and a last chance to shine for many. One big push to decide the final destination of the Maglia Rosa. Giulio Ciccone, part of a large breakaway, took maximum points on the first King of the Mountains of the day. But soon afterwards, Mahi Mohoric attacked solo on the descent. Thibaut Pinot paid a very high price for his previous day's efforts. The Frenchman completely cracked and bid a sad farewell to his podium dreams. The young Slovenian was then joined by Nieve, Grosshartner and Brambilla. Meanwhile, Froome and Team Sky looked in total control. Nieve pressed on alone and crested the second King of the Mountains of the day. In a final flourish of panache, Tom Dumoulin repeatedly attacked Froome on their way up to Cervinia, but could not break his strength and resolve. Let's join the action with the GC group all together, aside from Pinot, with numerous attacks from riders looking to improve their places in the top 10.
Tom Dumoulin fights again, he leans on the pedals, he checks the damage. Froome is coming across the gap. Well, through the darkness, who will emerge into the sunshine as leader? Big attack there, and it's dropped Carapaz. It's also dropped Domenico Pozzovivo. So lots of power here from your defending champion, Tom Dumoulin, trying to take this race from the shoulders of Chris Froome, who hasn't given an inch and just goes over the top. No mercy being shown, putting Dumoulin to the sword here. Chris Froome, so strong.
Well, he saw the others being distanced behind him, and he has gone. He's trying now to put Dumoulin under pressure. Dumoulin looks over his shoulder, he's looking for his teammate. He has now gone out the back and it is going away from him. It is all starting to fall apart, and look at that. He won't panic, he can't afford to panic. He's just got to find his rhythm, get his breath back, and then just time trial his way back up.
Well, fascinating time. It just shows, doesn't it, Rob, how much Dumoulin is investing in these attacks. Carapaz now goes. This is such a sensational battle here on the slopes of the final big mountain day in the Giro d'Italia on the slopes of the Cervina, but Miguel Angel Lopez is equal to it, also drawing Chris Froome clear. Formolo is now dropped, and also second place overall. He does have that big buffer though. He's got about 3 minutes on third place overall. Is it going to be darkness for Dumoulin? I don't think so. I think he's gradually winding this group in so measured, applying that even distribution of power. And meanwhile, up in front, the big buffer over the pink jersey group is Mikel Nieve. He has ridden one of the races of his life. This could be stage win number 5 for Mitchelton Scott. He will not give up without a fight. And I can guarantee, if he gets on, he's going to try and go again. Tom Dumoulin will not lie down. He wants to try and take something from this race. Froome is aware, looks behind. Well, he'll move over. Just giving himself a little bit of respite here is Tom Dumoulin. And meanwhile, behind is Oman coming back into contact.
Dumoulin so strong. He didn't panic. He knew this climb would suit him a little bit more. It's not overly steep, not like the climbs that we had yesterday. Froome just swings across. He wants to get Dumoulin. He wants to get him in his sights so he can't take him by surprise. Sam Oman comes up, but so does Walt Poles, so it's 2 on 2.
Oh, it's team tactics here. Each of the first 2 riders on general classification, each have a key lieutenant, Poles and Sam Oman. Formolo there on the right in the green, but meanwhile, coming under the Flamme Rouge, for what will be his third victory in the Giro d'Italia. One victory in 2011, another in 2016. Mikel Nieve, the superb climber from Mitchelton Scott from the Basque Country, is looked set fair for a tremendous day on his birthday. But meanwhile, another battle ensues a little bit further down the road, 700 metres for Nieve. The birthday boy riding in the service of others so often, the selfless domestic, the superb climber deluxe. It is Cervinia serving up a slice of pink birthday cake for Mikel Nieve. A wonderful performance by the rider from the Basque Country. Delighted, urged on by the crowd here. He can't believe it. This is an emotional win. Are they tears in his eyes? Well, they're nearly tears in mine, I can tell you that. Mikel Nieve, birthday boy, is the victor here on the final big stage in the Giro d'Italia. Take a bow, Mikel Nieve, the winner here in Cervinia.
What a 3 weeks for this team. It was all looking so good for the pink jersey up until yesterday. And now it's this man here.
Wonderful riding here from Tom Dumoulin. He is riding like a true champion.
What a rider. He has been so strong, and he put those attacks in. We were expecting those attacks. The Team Sky were expecting them, and they were able to nullify every single one of them, and even put Dumoulin then on the back foot, but he didn't crack, he didn't panic, and now, well, riding like the true champion that he is.
Well, Carapaz now goes using the Tifosi as a launch pad, and straight on his wheel is Miguel Angel Lopez. This is a battle royale. Remember, hey, the prestige of the best young rider is at stake here. Carapaz goes so sharp, so quick, but Lopez straight into his slipstream.
Well, this is the secondary battle that we were expecting today, that battle for the white jersey, and it is Carapaz trying to go clear of Lopez.
Some acceleration. Carapaz, what a find he is for Movistar, the young Ecuadorian. Already got that stage, and remember, and he's moved himself up the general classification as well because of what's happened to Thibaut Pinot today, dropped way off the podium. But Miguel Angel Lopez, well, he will not give Carapaz a turn. He's got a good buffer now, coming into 1,800 metres to go, but you can't fault the attacking nature of Richard Carapaz. A very exciting young rider. In fact, both of these riders, both Grand Tour stage winners now. Carapaz, a winner of a stage in this year's Giro, and of course last year Miguel Angel Lopez on 2 stages of the Vuelta. But a solid ride here by Giulio Ciccone for 4th place on the day. Wonderful riding, and again a rider that took his chances and tried, didn't quite pull it off on the day. There you go, the dust plumes kicked up into the air, and it is still, well, it is actually the rider in front on his own. Tom Dumoulin leading that group through now, just riding for honour now, I think. Through the dust, Richard Carapaz and Miguel Angel Lopez. Richard Carapaz of Movistar and Ecuador coming into the last 500 metres. This is Gianluca Brambilla of Trek Segafredo. A solid top 5 performance by him. He got himself into that move, gave himself a chance, but could do nothing against the power of Mikel Nieve today. Solid ride there by Gianluca Brambilla. 5th place on the day, and not too far behind. Well, look at this, Dumoulin is drawing these other riders back, perhaps looking after Sam Oomen on this occasion, but riding with real honour and real panache. Carapaz rounds the final corner into the finishing straight as it drags to the line, but with the situation it is on the road, Carapaz is going to finish just inside the top 10 here. Miguel Angel Lopez is going to secure the best young riders jersey and securing the pink jersey. We've still got a day to go in Rome, just moving up the outside and attacking to drive him through the finishing line. Wout Poels leads Chris Froome. The situation, it is as you were. Well, Chris Froome is going to ride into Rome in the pink jersey of the Giro d'Italia and looks set fair to be victorious.
Well, it's all smiles there for Team Sky, but you've got to hand it to Tom Dumoulin. That man there, he did absolutely everything in his powers that he could do to try and wrestle that pink jersey back off the shoulders of Chris Froome.
Birthday boy Mikel Nieve lifted Mitchelton Scott's spirits by taking the team's 5th victory of this year's race and his 3rd in the Giro.
Today it's been a perfect day, no? The day I dreamed after yesterday. So yeah, really happy also for the team after yesterday. And yeah, I think couldn't be better day for me. And yeah, now we have to enjoy the Giro we have done. I think with 5 stage wins, it's been a really good Giro for us, and we have to enjoy this Giro. Yeah.
Chris Froome successfully defended his pink jersey from Dumoulin's attacks. The British rider even increased his lead by 6 seconds on last year's champion. In third place now sat Miguel Angel Lopez following Pinot's capitulation.
I thought they obviously were attacks that I had to follow in the final there, but I felt very much in control and very, I guess, capable of following today. I think everyone had such a hard day yesterday. I think no one really had the extra legs to go anywhere.
Froome enjoying his second day in pink with only the sprint parade in Rome to go before he can be crowned Giro champion. So, it was farewell to this spectacular edition of the Giro d'Italia in its 101st year, and what a backdrop for the final run to the line. The Eternal City in all its magnificence. Majestic, enchanted Rome hosted stage 21. 115 kilometres through the Italian capital and a last showdown for the sprinters. A technical city centre circuit to be covered 10 times, drawing this Giro to a close. A sun-kissed day to end the race and a chilled, relaxed atmosphere in the peloton. Also a day of celebration for Chris Froome and Team Sky, all in pink. The race was neutralised after 3 laps after the hierarchy within the peloton expressed concern about the state of the ancient Roman roads, so Chris Froome confirmed as winner of this fantastic Giro d'Italia. With the GC done and dusted, the pink jersey group took it easy and dropped behind. Let's join the action on the last lap with the sprint to be contested with the reduced bunch, including Viviani and Bennett.
Coming into the last couple of kilometres of what has been a spectacular Giro d'Italia, and it's going to be a spectacular showdown here in the country's capital.
Where is Quickstep? Where is that jersey of Italia Viviani? Where is he? He's just a little bit further back at the moment. Not in the shot as yet.
Well, Gempi Drucker is also up there for BMC. Look out for him. But still a long lead out here from Wanwele Borare. One of the riders from Bora Hansgrohe has had enough. Such an infernal tempo is being set, and Boraro's job is now done. 1,600 metres to go. And now we see AG Tuala Mondial just moving up the outside as well as the Zdenek Stybar.
Here come the Quick-Step train. Sorry to cut across you there, but look at Stybar go. In fourth wheel, he's currently got the perfect lead-out train. He's got the position and he's got the power with 1.4 kilometres to go.
Well, 1,300 metres now as Zdenek Stybar leads Michael Morkov, leads Fabio Sabatini, and then on his wheel and is Elia Viviani, and then we have Sam Bennett as well. We've got another rider, Gempi Drucker of BMC, also wants a bit of a sniff of the action. Stybar, the Czech road champion. The pace is so infernal. Riders are just leading the wheels. They've got a couple of little curves still to go. 1 kilometre to go now on the final stage of the Giro d'Italia.
Well, 1K now, and he's still got 2 riders. He's got Morkov, and then Sabatini, then Viviani, and then you've got Bennett on the wheel, so still enough firepower for Viviani.
Well, there we go. Nicola Bonifacio is also there. You can see Mati Mohoric looking round. Riders losing the wheel now. The pace is so high. Still to Zdenek Stybar. What a strong rider Stybar is, just coming in to the finishing straight of the Via del Forti Imperiale. Just moving up the outside is Mati Mohoric with Nicola Bonifacio on his wheel. Bonifacio just goes into the slipstream. This is Bonifacio going very long indeed. It is still Sabatini, Morkov, Sabatini, Elia Viviani, Mati Mohoric leading out. Then we've got Morkov. Morkov takes to the front. Sabatini in his slipstream. Elia Viviani is there. So is the Irish rider from Bora Hansgrohe, Sam Bennett. Bumping and bustling also in the mix is Belletti of Androni Giocattoli. Also there is Gempi Drucker, but Viviani launches. Viviani on the right hand side, opening up a gap. Bennett on the left, Viviani on the right. Oh, this is so close. Viviani, Bennett takes the win. Oh, spectacular finale there. Sam Bennett, a hat-trick victory.
taking it on the line from Italia Viviani. So a hat-trick for the Irishman ahead of the cyclamen jersey winner, third to BMC's Jempi Drucker.
The last 2 days I was suffering so much. I think I went too deep in the first week and a little bit in the second week, and I paid for it the last 2 days. And yeah, I think it was mainly down to the teamwork today. They did an amazing job. Like when that break went on the final lap, they went eyeballs out, and yeah, I can't thank them enough. They were amazing.
Chris Froome won the Giro d'Italia in flamboyant pink style, a celebratory parade on the Fori Imperiali. His final advantage at the end of this epic race was 46 seconds over Tom Dumoulin, with Miguel Angel Lopez almost 5 minutes behind in third. First Italian, Domenico Pozzovivo in fifth.
I have to say, I mean, my relationship with this race, I've always been a little bit afraid of coming here and really targeting it because of just the demands of the race, and it's just so different to any other race that exists. And to be here in this position now, obviously to have won the race, is just I can't quite believe it myself.
A superstar podium at this year's Giro. Let's hear from last year's winner and this year's runner-up.
Sometimes you cannot win them all, and I'm really happy with second.
Any regret?
No, nothing.
Are you still amazed by Chris Froome's achievements?
Yeah, he pulled something really special off, and so congrats to him.
Miguel Angel Lopez was also the best young rider taking the white jersey, a landmark in the Colombian's career, who showed he can really challenge for the overall at the Grand Tours. A disappointed Italia Viviani brought home the points classification jersey ahead of Sam Bennett, but must be happy with 4 stage wins. Chris Froome was also our King of the Mountains winner ahead of Giulio Ciccone and Simon Yates. He took centre stage in Rome. He came, he fell, but ultimately he conquered. Grandissimo Chris Froome, a superb rider, the best of his generation, and only the third rider in history to hold all 3 Grand Tours at the same time.